that took the lives of, I think, 3 people. And it is very, very disturbing because it happened as a place of worship. And please remember those victims and their families in your thoughts. Any other? Mayor Pro Tem?
So I would defer to Ms. Jordan if she'd like to mention about the school incident.
Do you want to do it now? Okay, please.
Yes. While there was not loss of life, there was something deeply felt by our community based on what happened starting in Lakeland and then moving into other portions of the county. And please keep everyone who was experienced trauma because of this in your thoughts. Thank you.
Certainly. Thank you. Seeing none, please join me in a moment of silent meditation. Councilmember Jordan.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated. Doing the roll call, starting with Councilmember Jacob Hernandez.
Present.
Councilmember Alan Hugh is joining us from ITGA conference in Texas. Welcome. Thank you.
Present.
Councilmember Jordan.
Present.
Councilmember Simmons.
Present.
Councilmember Oates.
Present.
Councilmember Ranker.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Mackey.
Present.
And Councilmember Mitchell.
Present.
We'll do the announcement and comments in the same order, starting with City Council Member Jacob Hernandez.
Good afternoon, College Parkers. I want to say thank you to everyone who participated in this weekend's events, including the Hollywood Farmers Market, the Spring Cleanup, and the Spring Street Fair. It was incredible. Upcoming events to put on your guys' radars and your schedules. Memorial Day ceremony, the Veterans Memorial Day ceremony will be on Monday, May 25th at 11 a.m. Come join us to remember and honor those who served in uniform and who have passed away. This is a great opportunity for folks to come together. It will be at the Veterans Day, the Veterans Memorial, the city's Veterans Memorial on Maryland 193 and Route 1. It'll start at 11 a.m. Another event, the North College Park Civic Association Block Party will be on Saturday, May 30th from 1 to 4 p.m. We're going to be meeting right there on Edgewood in Rhode Island. Come and join us. I think the College Park Arts Exchange is going to have some representation. We're going to be doing some fun yoga and a little bit of karate. So stop on by if you're around. And then finally, Monarch Preschool's playground groundbreaking will finally come to fruition on Monday, June 1st at 11 a.m. Community members are invited to attend. Thank you.
Thank you. What's going on? Let's go to Councilmember Alan Hugh. Turn your mic on.
Yes, thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody who joined us for the street fair on Sunday. It was a nice turnout, great day. Lots of fun to be had with everyone. I am unfortunately away this week, fortunately and unfortunately, for the International Town and Gown Association Conference in College Station, Texas. I'm very excited. There's some really good topics here that should prove useful for our city and university relations.
Thank you. Thank you for representing College Park. All right, let's go to Councilmember Jordan.
Thank you. Regarding the shootings and carjackings that occurred on Friday in my district in Lakeland and also East Riverdale and Greenbelt, Prince George's County is handling the investigation, but I wanted to thank the police from so many jurisdictions who worked together I want to thank the off-duty police officer who put his life in jeopardy to pursue this person. It takes such courage and love to be someone who runs toward danger to protect others. And I wanted to let College Park residents know, if you are a College Park resident and need mental health support, the city has a partnership with Care Solace to offer mental health resources, and the coordination services are free and confidential and accessible. The phone number is 888-515-7881, and you can call at any time. Additionally, I was able to stop by for the rain garden planting at Berwyn, held by the Berwyn District Civic Association. It was a great turnout and a beautiful day. And as a follow-up, there will be a pollinator garden planting at the Trolley Trail Permaculture Garden near Greenbelt Road and Rhode Island Avenue, Sunday morning, June 7th. I attended the Lakeland Day event celebrating Reclaim Lakeland. That exhibit was at the Aviation Museum, which was also well attended. And finally, I was honored to be able to see a tour that staff gave to council members yesterday of Duval Field, and how what a great amenity that's going to be for the city of College Park. Thank you.
Certainly. Councilmember Simmons?
Thank you. First, I think I just wanted to echo the sentiments that my colleague, Councilmember Jordan, expressed, and appreciation for the way in which she expressed them. Briefly, a note that the Berwyn District Civic Association meeting will occur this Thursday from 7:30 to 9 p.m. There are online and in-person options. In-person is at 4912 Berwyn Road. And then I also wanted to let folks know, I think we talked last week about the Reclaiming Our Space exhibit opening this past week, but it will be ongoing, if I am not mistaken, for the next year. That is in person at the College Park Aviation Museum. The exhibition explores the foundation, flourishing, and dismantling of the historic Lakeland community while honoring the resilience of its residents and their ongoing work to preserve memory, pursue justice, and strengthen community ties. And I wanted also, on that note, to provide some appreciation and congratulations to the Lakeland Community Heritage Project, and also to MNC PPC for partnering, as well as I think the university and other individuals as well. So if I've missed anyone, Ms. Gross, I'm sure you will have an opportunity to correct the record, but thank you and congratulations as well.
Yes, thank you. And that was a wonderful event for Lakeland. I also do want to thank our staff for putting together the spring festival this past weekend. Laura, Rena, Kevin, and I'm sure the entire City Hall was there. Thank you. Can you give a big round of applause for a wonderful event they put together? This has been months of preparation and lots of work. I told Rena to take a few days off, maybe. Such a hard work. And finally, I also want to thank the community for coming last Wednesday evening at the City Hall at the 21st Delegation Community Meeting. And we had the opportunity to recognize and celebrate the election and appointment of our speaker, Madam Speaker, Jocelyn Pena-Milnick, and she is a College Park resident. And this was such a wonderful opportunity for us. Let's go to Councilmember Oates.
Thank you. Also last week was the Calvert Hill Citizens Association's first in-person meeting since before COVID, which was great. I'll say CHCA is also having tomorrow night a Zoom meeting for a readout from the 21st District Delegation. So if folks are interested to join that, that will be on Zoom. I also just wanted to flag for folks that the Trolley Trail Bridge that's north of Campus Drive, south of Pierce, is due to be reopened tomorrow.
Yes,
So that's exciting to have more connectivity in College Park and not a mile-long detour. And it also exciting in the context of Trolley Trail Day coming up on June 13th. So excited for that. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's go to Councilman Ranker.
Yeah, special shout out for all of our University of Maryland graduates who are graduating this week. There are different colleges at the university who are doing their graduations today, tomorrow, Thursday, I think Friday also. You might have seen, but the big graduation was moved from Wednesday night to Thursday night, so it's just good for our residents to know when to expect a lot of traffic in and out. I also, Thursday night, there's also here at City Hall is graphic novelist Gareth Hines, who's a local artist who's going to be sharing a demonstration. There's going to be some art, storytelling. It should be a great event, and that's a free event. I'll also share that I will be in my capacity as a chaplain at Maryland. I'll be traveling out of country and then taking some vacation. So I will. District 3 will be well served by Councilmember Oates. While I'm out, I'll still be available by email. Thanks.
Thank you. You deserve that. Let's go to Mayor Pro Tem Mackey.
Yes, I just want to make a announcement for seniors. There's fall prevention kits that are going to be made available for seniors. All the different sites are on the city website, I'm sure, but I just wanted to reiterate that there'll be Wednesday, June 3rd at the College Park Woods Clubhouse, 1 to 3, Friday, June 12th from 10:30 to 12:30 at the Branchville Volunteer Fire Department, Tuesday, June 16th from 3 to 5 at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church, and Saturday, June 27th from 10 to 2 at the Hollywood Farmers Market. So fall prevention is very key for seniors, so I hope that the seniors will come out and get the kits, which will be very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I want to say that the meeting that was expected to be held tomorrow at College Park Woods has been canceled, be rescheduled for the fall, and that will be with the comptroller from the state of Maryland, Ms. Brooke Learman. So we were looking at some fall dates to follow up with her and meet at the College Park Woods Community Center. Number two, the Prince George's County Executive, Aisha Braebury, we were hosting a listening session on May 21st in regards to her selection of the 3 candidates for the school superintendent. Will be from 6:30 to 7:30, and it also will be held virtually. I will pass this information on to the clerk to see if we can put this on social media. And finally, as this week as we honor Memorial Day, I'm asking anyone who serves in District 4 who has served or has a loved one who has served, please send your name and forward it to me at D. Mitchell at College Park MD. I will be doing a special engagement with those individuals. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Let's go to our student. Councilmember Jordan has
One more, I'm very sorry, I forgot. The community yard sale for the Berwyn neighborhood will be happening this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. So multiple houses will be having sale. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's go to the student liaison announcement for the very last time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's really fitting for my last announcements. I don't really have any announcements, but just a couple things that we had been doing. First, congratulations to the incoming student liaisons. I'm so excited for the work and leadership they're about to bring to the city. Gotten the chance to speak with them both about initiatives that Amir and I want to see them continuing, and also initiatives they have. And we know that they're going to bring great new perspective and leadership to the city, so we're really looking forward to that. We also have been connecting them to certain different groups that we have been assisting, student orgs, just so they have the contacts going forward and able to assist. But yeah, that's all from me.
Thank you. Amira?
Similar to Nick, I don't have any new updates, unfortunately. But I also want to welcome the new student liaisons. I'm super excited to see what they're going to do in this role. It's been super rewarding sitting up here, and thank you to you all. Certainly.
Thank you. Let's go to our city manager's report. Mr. Young is again with Councilmember Hill at the ITGA conference, and who's going to? Ms. Reams,
I'll actually be taking this one for Mr. Young. Of course, he can chime in if he likes. Good evening, College Park, and good evening, Mayor and Council. To kick us off, I just want to acknowledge that it is Public Works Week. I know we have a proclamation on the agenda tonight. Our Director of Public Works is here, so we just want to offer sincere thanks to our amazing Department of Public Works that they do a fantastic job supporting this community. And then on behalf of staff, we also want to offer our sincere thanks to our student liaison and our deputy student liaison. Thank you so much for your hard work. You guys set a high bar, and we wish you great luck in your future endeavors. Thanks so much for all the compliments for SpringFest. I do want to give a shout out to the whole staff for that one. So it was amazing because we had staff members represented from, I think, all of our departments working on that event. It was truly a fantastic event, and we had a great time and really appreciated seeing folks out there. I've got a few general announcements. We are looking for some volunteers to serve on a few advisory bodies. So we've still got openings on Advisory Planning Commission, Bicycle and Pedestrian Commission, and Veterans Memorial Commission. The deadline to apply for those is Sunday, May 24th. We're also doing this year's Summer Social Sports Leagues. They're back. We've once again teamed up with UMD Recwell to offer city residents a 50% discount on 3 different leagues: volleyball, pickleball, and badminton. So you can register individually as a team, and registration ends June 3rd for that. We're also partnering with the University of Maryland to offer a summer reading program for city students in kindergarten through 7th grade. Those sessions will be held at the University of Maryland campus from July 7th through July 23rd, and you can apply online on our website, and those applications are due by June 1st. We are also still offering the Grab Bar Rebate Program, which is a fantastic program that is going to help reduce fall risks for residents aged 62 and older. Eligible residents can receive up to $150 for the purchase or installation of grab bars in their homes, and those applications are coming up due on June 7th. As Councilmember Oates mentioned, the trolley trail will reopen between Campus Drive and Paint Branch Trail tomorrow, so that's great news. We've also been working on the Rotan Street sidewalk project, so raised intersections, signage, and pavement markings, including directional arrows, continental crosswalks, and stop bars have been installed on Rotan Street. The city will convert the entirety of the street to one-way traffic going westbound on Tuesday, May 26th. We've got a lot of great upcoming events. I'm just going to highlight 2 for us. As Councilmember Ranker mentioned, this Thursday, we're very excited to welcome local illustrator and graphic novelist Gareth Hines for an evening of art, storytelling, and live demonstration. So join us here at City Hall at 7 p.m. on Thursday. And upcoming Friday Night Live is back for round 2. That will be on June 12th. We have musical guest Dead Flowers, and this is our Pride Month theme Friday Night Live, so we hope to see all of you at that event as well. That's all I've got. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any question for Ms. Reams? Seeing none, let's move to the acknowledgement. We have former District 2 City Councilmember Maxine Gross in the room. Thank you, Ms. Gross, for coming and joining. And hopefully I'm not missing anyone. Online? No. All right, with that, let's move to the proclamation and awards. We have one proclamation, and this is about the National Public Works Week. And this is the week, May 17, 2026 is the National Public Works Week. And the proclamation reads as follows. Whereas the City of College Park proudly recognizes National Public Works Week, May 17, 2026, is as an opportunity to highlight the essential role public works professionals play in our daily lives. And whereas this year's theme, People, Purpose, Presence, honors the dedication and impact of public works staff who contribute to the health, safety, and quality of life in the communities they serve. And whereas public works employees in College Park manage a wide range of vital services, including solid waste programs, tree and landscape maintenance, playground upkeep, fleet and facility maintenance, engineering services, invasive species management, snow and ice removal, and overall neighborhood safety and cleanliness. And whereas their contributions directly support the comfort, sustainability, and livability of our city, making College Park a place we are all proud to call home. And whereas National Public Works Week offers an opportunity to recognize and appreciate the hardworking men and women who provide these critical services and professionalism, purpose, and pride. And whereas this week the city takes a moment to acknowledge and appreciate the hardworking men and women who are instrumental in sustaining a city we can all be proud of. And whereas we also extend our gratitude to the community whose support and active participation make the work of the Public Works Department both meaningful and successful. And now therefore be it proclaimed by the Mayor and Council of the City of College Park that the week of May 17 to 23, 2026 is hereby recognized as National Public Works Week in the City of College Park, proclaimed this 19th day of May 2026. Fazil Kabir, Mayor, City of College Park. With that, let me go to the podium to do the presentation, an award rather, to our student liaison and deputy student liaison. All right. So this has been such a wonderful year, and this is also, I'd say, a bittersweet moment for all of us. So we are happy that we will not be spending long, late night evening with us. That's a good thing for you. And oftentimes you are here staying with us late, even though you had classes next day or exam next morning, right? And new assignments, but you stayed with us. And even though some of the items we discussed are long and that could be boring, but thanks for your patience. And you have been engaging, by the way, very much. But on the other side, we are really sorry to miss you all, both of you, because you have done such a good job for our community, for the student community, bringing the campus community close to the College Park's larger community. And a couple of things I know I can probably spend an hour talking about many things you have done. One of the things I think we all agree on and appreciate is the early lease ordinance that you both worked and showed your leadership on that. And that was I know it was a little long process, but in the end we made it happen. And thanks to your leadership. This is not only will be making the lives of many our student residents, but also all renters in College Park. So it's just a good legislation, good law, and thank you for your leadership for bringing this up. You also have done something that wasn't done before, both of you, and that is the formation of the student advisory committee, and that really opens the door to many College Park students at the campus to come close to the larger community and through larger engagement, right? And recently in the budget, we because of your advocacy and working with us, we allocated more internship. That is a big help because, you know, the University College Park, we are so lucky to have University of Maryland within us, and we have such a pool of talent in the city, and we can tap into it. So that internship work will really help. You've been vocal, voicing the many students' concerns through many different legislations and resolutions we passed, and I appreciate that in particular. And even last week, and I really impressed both of your advocacy for affordability in the housing project that was before us. And this is not only the first time, and many times you spoke on that. So I have actually a long list of things. I can go on and on, but thank you. So we really miss you, but the good thing is that you're not going away completely. You'll be still in College Park, which is a good thing. We're lucky. So please stop by, and wish you all the good luck. And anything you do, any way we can help, please let us know. I'm sure some of my colleagues want to maybe speaking. Councilman Ranker, please go ahead.
Well, I just want to thank you. Of course, you have these big accomplishments that you've helped move, but I've also enjoyed your input and your counsel on so many things behind the scenes that people don't get to see, the way you have tirelessly advocated for students, but also for our residents, everybody of our residents. And you guys have really been working hard behind the scenes to make good things happen for everybody here. And so I'm especially grateful for you both, for your heart for public service, and I'm looking forward to continuing to have you guys in my ear telling me, don't do that. Yes, do that. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilmember Mitchell?
Yes, most definitely. I want to say thank you to both of you. Even though we've had a rocky start in the beginning, you have really shown us what leadership means in more ways than one. And I really look forward to what you have to provide in the future. I know you're going to do both a phenomenal job, and I know we will have Nick for the summer to help us with our internship project that he's going to be doing with us in District 4. But again, thank you for everything that you've done and what you brought to the City Council.
Thank you. All right. Let's. Do you have anything to say? Maybe viewers. It's up to you. Please.
All right, so last, I guess, statements for me. Well, not truly, because I will be working with the District 4 team here over the summer, and I'm very excited to be working on the new Quality of Life project for them and working to improve both District 4 and College Park as a whole. But I wanted to express my deepest gratitude to you all. It's been an honor to serve and work with you all this past year. Amir and I came in with really just some ideas kind of just brought forward to us by students in our community and residents, especially related to the early renewals and the pressure that people were facing in our city. And through the help of you all and working with community stakeholders and students, we were able to truly make a change and enact an ordinance that is still one of the first of its kind in the nation, which is something to be proud of. Really what this position has taught me is the power of using one's voice to change, to create change, I should say. Just to recap, the student liaisons positions don't have voting rights. They don't have the same different abilities that council members or other people and staff have as well. But we always did have our voice. And by using our voice to speak up for those who felt like they were not being heard, to use it to be able to mobilize students and residents and speak to people across the aisle, even people who disagreed with us, and we were able to get them on board at various different times. Seeing that truly is something that I think that this country is missing, and something that I think could be really helpful as well, is really taking the time to talk to one another, engage in civil discourse, and working to make great policies that are able to truly benefit us all. So again, I thank you all, and I look forward to still working with the city. So I'll see you guys around.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I don't have a whole lot to say, but I do want to say that this role has been extremely transformative, not in just the things that we were able to do, but the things that it has done for us as well. I think, like Nick was saying, this has truly taught me how powerful our voices are, how much just working with other people, talking to community members can do for society, because we have passed the first law in Maryland restricting early renewals. It's such a huge accomplishment, and to say that I was able to take part in this is something that I will carry with me for the rest of my life, and I think it has truly inspired me to continue speaking up whenever I see things that are wrong in society. I also want to express my extreme gratitude and thanks to everyone here on the City Council, everyone here tonight, because truly talking to you guys and learning from you guys has been something extremely valuable to me and something that I believe will carry me throughout the rest of my career in public service. And then one last thank you is to the students, because as we know, especially when we were advocating for the early ordinance. We had so many students come out here and advocate and testify, even when they had exams, even when they had assignments, just so that they could engage with the city council. And I'm so sure that it will not be the last. And I'm really excited to see what people do in the future, as well as our next student liaisons. I'm hoping they continue to bring out these students and continue to keep up this advocacy. But once again, I'm just very thankful for this opportunity and the service I was able to do in this role.
Thank you. Don't go away. We have a small token of appreciation for both of you. So first, Nick, sorry, you. Let's take a photo, maybe. Sure. Sorry, yeah. Okay, thank you. And then Amira, please. Can I take a group photo with all of us, please?
Thank you.
With that, we welcome our new student liaison, Emma Martin, and our deputy student liaison, who will be appointing in a minute, but you can take a seat if you want over there. Thank you. Sami Said. Welcome. Our next business on the agenda is the amendments and approval of the agenda. I believe there is one amendment.
Right here.
Councilman Ranker.
I move to remove 26-G-44, approval of a letter for the preliminary plan of subdivision for the Mark to be located at 4313 Knox Road and 4330 Hartwick Road, to redevelop an existing student apartment building, College Park Towers, by raising the building and constructing 2 new student apartment buildings with a total of approximately 590 dwelling units with associated site information and amenities, including a central promenade.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, no abstention? So that's been added, rather removed. Is there any other amendments? Seeing none, let's have a motion to
I move to
adopt
approve
it
the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, any abstention? The agenda has been approved. So this was, the last one was Mayor Pro Tem and Councilmember Oates, right? Right, for the record. All right, now we go to the public comments on the consent agenda and non-agenda items. Mr. Dorsch, please come forward for the record. State your name.
The one you just mentioned. David Dorsch, I'm a longtime College Park resident here. 2 things. As you may have heard me say in previous meetings, it's time for the city to sell that house at 4704 Calvert Road. There's no reason for the city to be hanging on to that thing. It's vacant and it has been distressed. So I think they finally got the paint out of the windows, but other than that, that's about it. The city does not need to be holding on to that. The second thing is, I don't know if you people have noticed, if you walked around town, a lot of wires are hanging down. And I guess most of them, I don't think any of them are power wires, but most of them are communication wires. And they probably all belong to Verizon. And of course, what's happening, as you well know, a lot of people no longer have wired phones in their houses. Everybody's on their cell phone now, so they don't need those wires anymore. But they shouldn't be left hanging down all over the place. The city needs to send somebody around, a group, and make a list of all the places where all these wires are hanging down, and call up Verizon and say, get out here and get rid of these things. They shouldn't be hanging all over the place like this. It does not make the city look good at all. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wants to speak? Please come forward. Podium. State your name for the record. And if you're a resident.
Advanced Technology Acceleration. I have sent the email regarding appreciative collaboration. I think it's a follow-up. I've sent a couple others too, but I'll send the reminder. Today, it just so happened that there was an alert with respect to air quality, and NOAA facility is located here. They have a long-term collaboration with University of Maryland, College Park. It started as a very small project several decades ago, and it has grown to the point where the predictions that are made by NOAA are utilized, and they deliver transformative economic efficiency throughout the region. They are very accurate lately, much more accurate than before, and they do collaborate intensely with University of Maryland research centers. So it's a mutually beneficial initiative that has grown significantly, and it's contributing significantly every day. So May 19th happened to be the day when all 6 million Maryland residents were affected by unhealthy air quality. It is unhealthy for the sensitive groups, but at the same time, you will see in the map, it covers whole of Maryland in the email that I've sent. It is part of the initiative that we think we can continue through PTSAs for College Park and other areas, but College Park needs to be better informed, more knowledgeable, and utilize the same information that is generated here through analysis. And also microelectronics is heavily used in this whole process. And at the same time, the outreach to citizens of College Park and different areas contribute significantly to the accuracy of these predictions. So it will be part of something we'll follow up along with many other research center contributions to the city of College Park. Thank you.
Appreciate it. If you have joined online, you can raise your virtual hand and we'll allow you to speak. Next, former Councilmember Maxine Gross.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Maxine Gross. I'm a resident of the Lakeland community within College Park. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who came out to the exhibition Reclaiming Lakeland that opened this past weekend at the College Park Aviation Museum. If you've not gotten there yet, you've got a year to make your way. I sincerely hope you do, and really make a couple of trips. There's so much to see. There's the traditional exhibition, but there are a number of interactives that will allow you to look at Lakeland both as it is now and as it was in the past. And particularly, I would encourage the brand new representatives of the student body to make their way over to see the exhibit and encourage their fellows to do the same. Being a graduate of the University of Maryland back in that prior century, I still find it amazing the number of individuals who talk about their student days at College Park and are completely unaware of the communities that surround the university, particularly Lakeland, and the contribution and really the harm that was brought to it by the University of Maryland. So I will say in particular that history isn't something that belongs in a museum alone. It's something that we need to use every day to guide us in our actions today and our plans for the future. And to that end, I bring to your attention the city's calculation of home ownership for Lakeland. The number that's recognized is slightly under 50%. And this does not take into account the harm done to the Lakeland community through the Urban Renewal Program, where 2/3 of the community was destroyed. So let's see, 2/3 was destroyed, so that left you 1/3. If the remaining 1/3 has a home ownership rate of approximately 50%, that's a number, let's say around 17%, and that is less than the rest of the city. That number needs to be recognized, and we need to take serious action to make change, to increase home ownership. That's been a stated goal of the Lakeland community, both through the Lakeland Vision 2030 that is published and shared with the cities, both the elected leaders and the staff. It's also information that's been provided in the Lakeland Neighborhood Plan that was done in conjunction with the City of College Park. It is complete in the harm report that the city paid for from the African American Redress Network, and that is also a stated goal in the Restorative Justice Action Plan that was adopted by the Restorative Justice Commission. So all that's to say, affordable home ownership is a goal of Lakeland. It's not something to be placed on a shelf and we look at pictures of what used to be. It's a goal that we want for our future. As opportunities, I'm going to call it an opportunity, as threats come to us about redevelopment of Lakeland properties, I truly, truly implore you to remember those facts that I've just reviewed for you. Affordable home ownership is the goal. We love our students. There's very much a place for them in all of our communities. But we need strong communities where people are able to place roots and grow their families and grow old and have security in their own home ownership. And to the extent that the city does not stand behind communities in that goal, it is to all of our detriment. You know, there's some things going on with economics that are making that much more challenging than it has been in the past. I think it's going to be worse in the future because of the hits that are coming to our economy as a whole and also to higher education. But I encourage you to hold the line. People need affordable places to live. They don't need to be taken advantage of by landowners that jack prices up where they can't afford them.
Thank you.
So we have a few things that I want to also tell you about. If you're willing to state your support for Lakeland, I'll encourage everyone to put a bumper sticker on their car. I've got some today. I'll be happy to get them to you in the future. It is my wish that by the end of the summer, my car will be filled with bumper stickers. One with Berwyn on it, one that says Hollywood, one that says College Park Woods, and on and on and on. We need to support our communities in what they want for their futures.
Thank you.
And also encourage you to come on the 7th of June to visit Lakeland, and that'll leave from the Lakeland College Park Community Center. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and speaking. Is there anyone else to speak? Judy. State your name.
I have a procedural question because I wanted to comment not on one of the consent
Please state your name
items.
for the record.
My name is Judith Wong, and I am a College Park resident, and I actually want to comment on one of the action items. So is it appropriate for me to make that comment now, or should I wait?
You need to wait, because if it is on the agenda as an action item,
Thank you.
Please wait.
I will wait.
It's coming. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. Seeing none, let's move to the next order of business, which is approval of the consent agenda. And we have 4 items on the consent agenda. Let me read them out, and then I will entertain a motion. First one, actually there are 5 of them. The first one is 26G34, approval of the rules and procedures for the mayor and council of the city of College Park. 26G42, approval of the deputy student liaison. 26G43, authorization to allow free parking on weeknights after 5 p.m. and free all-day Saturday parking in the city's downtown parking garage from May 23 to August 22nd, 2026. Fourth one is 26G47, approval of a proposal with Trinity Wiring and Security Solutions in the amount of $98,965 for the furnishing, installation, testing, and maintenance of CCTV equipment and associated system components at Duval Field. And final one, and fifth one is 26G48, approval of the February 10, 2026 Mayor and Council work session minutes.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Again.
Moved by Councilmember Hernandez and seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Mackey. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, any abstention? Consent agenda has been approved. Now we go to the only one presentation we have, 26G45, and this is about the legislative action request, LAR, for MML's consideration, and this will be taken by our Assistant City Manager, Ms. Laura Reams. Ms. Reams.
Good evening, everyone. Let me pull this up. Okay, so tonight's presentation is regarding the Maryland Municipal League Legislative Action Request, or LAR, or LAR, however you want to say it, process for the 2027 legislative cycle. So the purpose of tonight's presentation is to provide background on the process. I understand we have some new council members who may not be familiar with the MML process, as well as residents who may not be familiar with it. We'll review a few concepts for consideration for submission, and then receive high-level direction from council if there's any interest in submitting requests to MML this year. So first off, what is an MML LAR? Why so many acronyms? The Maryland Municipal League coordinates this annual process which allows municipalities to propose statewide legislation priority items as legislative action requests. Each city can submit a maximum of 3 LARs. They're intended to address issues that have broad impact on municipalities throughout Maryland. Those submitted requests are reviewed by MML's legislative committee, which is made up of representatives of all communities across the state, and up to 4 requests are selected for adoption by the MML board. Some important things to keep in mind: submissions are optional, and submitting an item does not guarantee that MML will adopt it. And it's also helpful to distinguish this process from the city's own legislative process, which will kick off later this year and address the city's broader advocacy agenda. This slide provides a couple of examples of the previously submitted College Park legislative action requests, as well as the recent MML adopted legislative action requests. One thing I wanted to highlight here is even when an LAR isn't adopted by MML, cities can still pursue the legislation independently through their own legislative priority requests, as well as coordination with their delegation. So it's important to consider the LAR process as one potential advocacy path, but it's not the city's only legislative path. So we'll take a look at the potential LAR submissions now. The first concept relates to vacant commercial properties, and rather than proposing a specific statewide mandate or specific policy or tax structure, this concept is framed more broadly as a potential statewide study or task force to examine in depth an area that a lot of cities are struggling with recently, vacant commercial properties. The proposal would look at areas such as vacancy remediation tools, look at best practices, what administrative considerations there are, potential redevelopment incentives, and of course, if there are state or local policy tools that can be used. The second concept would seek enabling legislation to authorize the use of automated crosswalk monitoring systems to improve pedestrian safety and driver compliance with yield laws. And then we have a potential option. We can look at resubmitting the LARs that we submitted last year that were not adopted by MML. So those are the two that you see up here. So prohibiting stopping and standing in bike lanes and out-of-cycle assessment for commercial properties. MML's rules allow them to be submitted twice. So those are potential options for us. Both of those items did go to the legislator independently, but neither of the items were adopted in the most recent session. I included this slide just to add some context for the type of issues that tend to be the strongest candidates for the MML process. Typically, those successful LARs are, again, ones that affect the majority of municipalities statewide and involve issues that require statewide coordination or changes in law and policy. I think it's also helpful to know that there's a vetting process that happens. MML staff reviews all submitted LARs. They look at them before the legislative committee actually gets them, and they look at doing things like legal and policy analysis and refining language. And then, as I mentioned before, that legislative committee reviews them over the summer and makes recommendations to MML's board, and then the board adopts those priorities in September. So tonight, council has two options. They can provide direction on preparation of one or more LAR submissions from the city of College Park, or we can choose to not submit LARs for the 2027 MML cycle. If we decide we want to move forward with an LAR tonight, we will schedule a follow-up agenda item for the June 2nd meeting to formally approve the submission to MML. And I want to close out tonight just to give a brief overview of how this fits in the city's overall broader legislative process. So I'll go through the calendar. Right now we're in May. So May, June, we'll be taking a look at the potential LARs. And then coming up in the summer, we'll be having a legislative priority work session. You'll receive a survey from me in the next upcoming weeks about what your individual council member legislative priorities are. And we'll ask for those to come back to us so staff has time to review those, do some research, and then bring them forward during our summer legislative priorities work session. During that work session, we'll discuss the city's advocacy goals as well as our priorities. We'll look at coordination with our District 21 delegation interests, and then we'll plan for a potential legislative event in the fall. In the fall, we'll be looking at, under our new council rules of procedure, adoption of the legislative priorities for the 2027 General Assembly session. That will occur in September. And then we'll, as I mentioned before, we'll hopefully be having a legislative event. And then in the winter and spring, that will be the General Assembly session starting in January, going through April. And that is really about legislative advocacy and monitoring, so testimony, engagement, and coordination. So really the take-home point here is that, we should consider whether or not we have something to submit that this council feels good about submitting as an LAR, but there are multiple avenues for us, and this is just one piece of our overall legislative process. So with that, I will be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Well, to make things easy, and as you said, we could submit one or more.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be only one. So, all of them look pretty nice to me and good to me. They all can benefit our residents. So if there is no objection, we could go with all of them. Councilmember Mitchell.
I would wholeheartedly suggest that we submit all four of them for consideration, knowing that we have someone as a speaker who represents College Park, and I know they work very closely with MML and staff. I think this will be a benefit for us.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, we can submit 3.
Not more than 3.
Yes, not more than 3. Now, MML can select up to 4 priorities, but they ask each municipality to only submit 3.
Top 3, okay.
Top 3?
Top 3.
Let's see, Councilmember Oates and then Mayor Pro Tem Mackey.
So just as a question in terms of the process, so we can submit up to 3. Is that any more or less? How is that received by MML? Is if we submit 2 or 1, does that have higher prioritization, or are they really just receiving everything and then saying, okay, hey, we are getting 30 requests about this one thing, maybe we'll make that
They will receive and review everything. I think, of course, when they get a repeated request from multiple municipalities, I think the legislative committee, really probably applies some weight there, but they will take the time to review each request submitted, and their staff does a really good vetting process before it even gets to the legislative committee. But there's no harm in submitting 3 if we feel like 3 is the right number. And there's no harm in submitting 1 or none, so they're pretty flexible with it.
And then my other question is, do we ever coordinate with other local municipalities? Mm-hmm. I know we have our 4 cities coming up, I think, later this week.
Yes, then that thought occurred to me as well. I think if we you know, if potentially we had our 4 cities meeting the previous month, that would have given us a little bit of time to coordinate on it. And that's something I'd love us to be able to tackle better next cycle. So we can look forward to that. But I have had conversations with several of the other cities, and they're all kind of in this brainstorming stage that we're in right now. So I did talk with many of the municipalities in this area, as well as our lobbyist, about things to consider.
Do you have any preference, Councilor Rhodes? You're gonna come back? You can come back, okay. Mayor Pro Tem Mackey?
Yes, no, I would like the bike lane one to be put in. I have some trepidation about the AI surveillance of crosswalks because there are so many people that really are concerned about the surveillance issue there. I'm very pro-safety of crosswalks and would love to see more crosswalk safety, but I think that we should really consider whether that would be something that we would want to support. Thank you.
So you want to support the rest 3?
The priorities for me are the bike. The other one, I haven't really heard yes or no, but the one on the crosswalks AI surveillance, there have been people that have contacted me about their concern about more AI surveilling. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Hernandez.
Can you show us the 4, please?
Yeah, of course. It should be up on, there we go.
All right. I see only 2. What are
So there's 2 under the resubmission, the ones from 2025. So that's the prohibiting stopping and standing bike lanes and the out-of-cycle assessment for commercial properties. And then the other 2 above it, the vacant commercial property study and the automated crosswalk monitoring.
Oh, I see. Okay. I support the 3 in order of automated crosswalk monitoring systems, the bicycle, like stopping in the bicycle lanes because we have Route 1, and then vacant commercial property study.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Simmons.
Thank you. I agree. I think my top priority is for the stopping or standing in bicycle lanes. I am also interested in the vacant commercial property study and then the out-of-cycle assessment for commercial properties. But I do have a question about the ones that we've submitted previously. I see in the staff report that it says because the 2 proposals were previously rejected, a second rejection under MML policy could make those proposals and substantially similar policy proposals ineligible for MML consideration. Is there a way to make them different enough to avoid that end?
Potentially. I mean, we could look at it. I also probably wouldn't worry about that too much in this cycle.
Oh, because it says 2027 to 2030.
Exactly.
So it's not right now.
It's not right now.
Okay.
It's no problem to resubmit them now. If it comes back up again next year, we can certainly look at potentially doing that.
Okay, that's really helpful. I think on that note, I stand by what I said, and I also just really appreciated what Mayor Pro Tem Mackey shared as well.
Okay, thank you. And let's go to Councilmember Jordan, then come back to Councilmember Oates.
Thank you. My priorities are...
Excuse me, I had my hand up.
Oh, you have? Okay, my apologies. Because you can't, because I'm looking into our new system. My apologies. Let's do Councilmember Hugh maybe, then come back to Councilmember Jordan. Councilmember Hugh, please go ahead. Unmute yourself. Again, my apologies.
There we go. There we go. The icon wasn't coming up. Yes, so as much as I'm passionate about the no stopping or standing in bike lanes, I worry if you bring that one up and it doesn't go through, it may be disqualified for future pursuing it. With the objectives of MML doing these legislative LARs, I don't see that they would prioritize that as well as we do, because not all the municipalities have bike lanes. So it may fall lower on their priorities that way. So I'm looking to top 3. And when it comes to the crosswalk monitoring, the cameras that are used for the AI for crosswalk monitoring are lower resolution, and they look at patterns, not people. It's not identifying and watching people. They're watching behavior and patterns, and that's very important. And that does impact everybody in the state. Every municipality in the state is impacted by pedestrian safety. So I think that's a very important one to follow up on, and the vacancies. And I would even be willing to throw in the other one besides the bike. What's that one?
Thank you. I do want to add something about the crosswalk monitoring system, and over the years I have received so many complaints, especially on Rhode Island Avenue, where we have the RRFB flashing beacons lights, and there are, I think, 5 of them, and there have been so many complaints that that the residents, they want to cross using the crosswalk, but they found the cars never stop, which has been a major problem, continuous problem. And there are 5 of them. Police cannot be all 5 of them all the time, and this is not the best way of using police resources. So that could be one potential opportunity of using this technology. Not that I'm saying that this is the best one, but I do not see any other way to enforce it efficiently. All right, Councilmember Hugh, are you done with your list? Okay.
Well, that was it, and thank you for reiterating the importance of the pedestrian safety with the crosswalks and the monitoring system. I think that if we're not familiar with it, if you're hesitant about supporting it, we need to learn more about it. But I think that's just a very important one that I think we should pursue along with the vacancy.
Thank you. Let's go to Councilor Jordan Beck. Sorry, thanks for your patience.
Yes, thank you. As far as my priorities, I would like to see the bike lane one pass, but I understand that if there are strategic reasons not to submit it, then I would defer. I am interested in the one about vacant and blighted vacant properties. It fits in with our prior vacant and blighted properties task force, and then a bill that passed in the legislature about allowing non-contiguous blighted areas to be included in development districts. And so this is something that's on the mind of both municipalities from the College Park level and also at the state level. And then I very much echo the concerns about surveillance, and I've heard from many of my residents about that. I would like to ask for clarification, if you happen to know, since you also make good points, Mayor Kabir, about specifically the Rhode Island Avenue and those what they're called on-call crosswalks, where a button is pressed. It's not just that you're continuously monitoring. Do we have any avenue for that kind of enforcement outside of a police officer happen to see them at the moment?
Not that I know of,
Not that I
unless
know of,
Ms.
yeah.
Rames,
Fortunately,
those cameras are not legal at this point?
Yes.
No, they're not. So this would be enabling legislation. And, similar to what we saw with the stop sign cameras, typically that also then involves the locality having to adopt their own ordinance potentially that governs the use of it within that community. And then similar to the stop signs, it's possible that there could even be a process by which the intersections or crosswalk areas have to go through an approval process as well. I definitely understand the concern about surveillance. I mean, I've heard that as well. I think that would very much come up in the implementation phase, and it would be a part of developing those operational standards, rules, as well as the procurement phase in terms of selecting whatever vendor we decide to go with for this type of technology. It is evolving, emerging technology. Things are changing rapidly in that area, and I suspect as it will evolve, we'll find a number of different vendors who probably have different approaches to how they're, actually recording the violations, as well as things like data storage and that type of thing. So for this particular item, what this is doing is just enabling municipalities to be able to do that. It doesn't get into sort of all those implementation details. Those would be things worked out at a later date.
All right, thank you very much. But given substantial pros and cons to both, I would defer, and I wouldn't put it forward, but I wouldn't block it if the body wanted to.
Okay, sounds like you're neutral on that. Okay, thank you. I see Councilor Ertz, you're ready with the list.
Thank you.
Your
Sorry, the
preference?
new IT system, it's hard to, once you unpress the button, you can't get back on. Just in terms of, I know in the council packet, you shared the proposed 2027 copies. I didn't see the 2026 LARs that we were proposing to resubmit. I know it said.
I apologize for that. They were omitted from the packet, but they are in your red folder and they were emailed to you today. So it is a little tiny bit confusing because it says 2025 at the top, but they were submitted for the 2026 session. So you can see those two in the red folder packet.
Yeah, and then just to keep it short, I will say I concur with Council Member Simmons's prioritizations.
The same priority. Okay. Sounds good. I do not. Councilman Ranker has.
Yep, I'd say the two that I feel most strongly about are the ones that we submitted last time.
Okay. All right. So you have everyone's input. Ms. Reams, do you have enough direction? You can make a list.
Yes, I will make a list and then I will follow up with the council. We'll just kind of confirm this. Everybody can see the drafts before they're submitted to MML, and then this will come back as a future agenda item for formal council approval on the June 2nd meeting.
Thank you.
Thank
you again for your work. Appreciate that. All right. We'll go to the action items. So we have a couple of them, three of them. The first, actually two. The first one is 26003, and this is the budget. Adoption of the ordinance of the Mayor and Council of the City of College Park to adopt the fiscal year 2027 general funds, ARPA allocation fund, capital projects funds, debt services fund budgets of the City of College Park, and this will be taken by our Finance Director, Mr. Olive. Welcome.
Good evening, once again. Here we are. Of course, I'm here to talk about the ordinance 26003, and I'm going to go through this pretty fast because I know that you've heard it all many times, and I think I could do this in my sleep by now. And I'm sure you don't want to be bored with all these numbers one more time. But as the mayor just said, this is the fiscal year 2027 proposed budgets for the general fund, ARPA, Capital Projects Fund, and also the Debt Service Fund. And this is proposing to continue the same tax rates as we currently have, which is non-commercial of 0.335 and commercial of 0.385. So there will be no changes in tax rates. For the total revenue that is included in this fiscal year 2027 budget, is $31.5 million, and you can see each of the different categories that make up that $31.5 million. Expenditures, $32.4 million, and this does include all the different areas, including the Capital Projects Fund, the transfer from general fund of $2.1 million, and also Debt Service Fund transfer of $1.3 million. And the use of fund balance of $869,876 for this fiscal year of 2027. Capital Projects Fund, starting balance of $9.7 million. Total revenues coming in at $2.8 million, and then expenditures of $7.8 million, leaving an end balance in capital projects of $4.7 million. And that includes or concludes the rest of that budget. Do you have any questions that I can answer?
Thank you. Councilor Hernandez?
I was hoping that we could move.
Yeah.
All right.
For the motion?
Yep.
Please go ahead.
I move to adopt ordinance 26003 to adopt the fiscal year 2027 general fund, ARPA allocation fund, debt service fund, and capital projects fund budgets for the city of College Park.
Further comments, Mr. Hernandez?
I just want to thank the council and staff for working through this. I know this was your first year working with, relatively a kind of like half new staff, new council.
So we all learn together.
And I know there was maybe a few questions we sent over, so we really greatly appreciate everyone pitching in to answer those questions, and thank you so much, and looking forward to being able to deliver the same quality services to the residents at the same tax rate.
Absolutely.
Thank you. We did have our public hearing on the budget last time, so we are not taking further public hearing, public comments on this action item. Before we take the votes, is there any comments from the council? I know we spent so much time on this, and I personally is so much thankful to you and our city manager as well for doing such a good work. It has been very much a pretty smooth process, and because the tax rate was not changed, so that was an important thing and welcomed by the community. Additionally, we were able to add more services and more amenities for our residents. So those are the positive things. We have added more staff. Other communities, other jurisdictions, they've been struggling with their budget. There are some of them having deficits, and they're not very far from us. But we are so lucky that we had a balanced budget, and thanks to you and staff for doing such a good job in keeping the numbers under check. Thank you. Congratulations. All right, Councilor Oates.
Yeah, I also just wanted to reinforce, really appreciated the community engagement and involvement, and I know that the city did several briefings for different civic associations and other community groups, and I think that hopefully has led to a even better budget. And then since this is my first time having gone through this process, just wanted to express my appreciation to the other members of council for providing counsel to myself in going through this process, and really look forward to the year ahead and what other things we will need to be thinking about for future budgets. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. With that, let's take the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? We have the budget. All right. Let's do it. Now you can have another fiscal year. This is mine actually, so not a problem. Thank you. So the next action item is 26G46, because it took out 26G44, and this is the consideration of the submit a letter of support to the Prince George's County Council and the Department of Housing and Community Development, DHCD, for a Prince George's County payment in lieu of taxes, otherwise called pilot agreement, for the boulevard located at 1991 Baltimore Avenue, College Park, Maryland 20740. And this will be taken by our Economic Development Director, Mr. Michael Williams.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. We're back from last week to present and talk about hopefully seeking a letter of support for a payment in lieu of taxes authorization from Prince George's County, and this is regarding the boulevard at 9091. Tonight, I'm joined by Mr. Chris Lessard, Mr. Tim McDonald, lawyer Arthur Horn is here representing, as well as one of the great members and assistance for us on the on HUD pro formas and financing, Mr. Nick Nicholson. Nick Nicholson, it was tripped me up. Nick Nicholson. So sorry, but we're here to take questions. During the week, we took several questions and tried to answer them and address your concerns on the development. We had several meetings with the development team. My office did throughout the week, and with the help of our assistant city manager, Michelle Hedgepeth, who really helped us a bunch to kind of keep it together and keep focused on the issues at hand. Several of our departments were very helpful, including our engineering department, which really gave us some great information on lighting and what parts of the streets of the boulevard was going to be lit with the proposed development. I'll also say that during the week, we had a chance on our side to speak to some professionals externally to kind of go over and speak about the pro formas and the suggestions that the developer had with how to make this deal work without our city revitalization tax credits. It worked pretty, in terms of the information, it was very good. I think one of the highlights, and it was a challenge because we know of the history of the property. We know some of the reservations of the some of the other business people, council members, and maybe even citizens. But I wanted to highlight that ownership would be ownership would be contributing about $30 million to the project. The growth assumptions in their financials are pretty reasonable, 2 to 3% growth annually. And then also one of the first draws in terms of contributing money to the project as it lifts off the ground will be a part of the ownership's equity and not necessarily immediately loan proceeds on the deal. So not selling it to you, but just wanted to highlight those things. Also, ownership has actually toured this site a couple of times this week, as recent as a few hours ago, because there were some fence issues on the property, as well as, again, we wanted to kind of look at the lighting and see what we had there. I'll let them talk for themselves, but again, this is up for consideration to have in a letter go to Prince George's County supporting a pallet financing if that happens. I do fully expect that if it does happen, that the numbers will show that the deal will have very little room for error, and I expect that the ownership and development team will probably be back here before us in the future to talk about how we can work together in support of their project. So again, I'll fire away with your questions, and we're here to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Before you bring the applicant, is there any question to his staff, Mr. Williams? Probably not. Yeah, let's bring our applicant. Please introduce yourself.
Mr. Lesser, you want to come up? I didn't know you wanted to come up. Arthur, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's great. Okay.
You have a question for staff? Okay, if you could please hold on. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Mr. Williams, just so I'm getting all of my facts straight, Cherokee Road is a city road? Cherokee Street?
Yes.
So that,
Yes, it is.
would it be our city engineer then
Steve
who
Halpern.
would be in charge of any sort of changes? I know that's been something that residents have had concerns about if we were changing parking, if we were making it one way. Is that something that?
Yeah, Mr. Halpern would be the one who would be working on that with the applicant. I mean, with the developer on that. Yes, so part of those, part of the improvements are provided for as part of the the declaration of covenants on this. And so Public Works has been intimately involved on this once this moves forward, because we already have an existing development site plan on it, and there are improvements that need to be made to the street, especially when the site is developed.
And would we, as the city, then have autonomy to, down the road, we find out this isn't working well, we need to make it one way or something like that? Is that something within our?
Yes, that would be within our control because it is a city street.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. That's really helpful.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Councilmember Simmons has a question to staff.
Yes, I think I have two questions for staff, and this is just kind of trying to wrap my mind around everything. So it seems like based on the analysis of the pro forma, you are seeing like actual gaps or needs in the financing.
No,
Okay.
we did want to, we addressed it in the form of could this deal survive with a 15-year pallet? And the answer is yes, it's viable. Although
Okay.
a little skinny, but viable.
Okay, so it's specifically factoring in the pilot.
The pallet, the 15-year
Understood.
county pallet, yeah.
Understood. And I'm not sure if this is a question for you or the applicant, but the Opportunity Zone funding, that's equity, is that right?
Chris, you want to speak to that?
Okay.
There's a bunch of rules that are around it, but it is equity. The stipulation, though, it must be capital gains as equity, so it's not a normal straight equity transaction.
Okay, thank you. I think those are my questions
Thank
for
you.
the moment for staff.
Appreciate it. I think, Mr. Hugh, your questions are for staff or for the applicant?
Staff.
Okay. Mr. Williams?
For staff.
People love you. Please go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Williams, this pilot program, are we at a deadline for this, and when would be the next opportunity for this applicant to apply for the pilot program?
So it is a county program that comes about annually about this time of the years, and so if we miss the May 30 or June 1st deadline, we would have to stand in line and wait next year, which, I think on the outside looking in, you probably say, well, it's not a big deal to wait an extra 10 months or so to have this conversation again. But I also think that there's some considerations with the Opportunity Zone changes that, again, makes this deal, along with the county, the county 15-year pallet, makes it a very timely opportunity to do it if we were going to support it, as opposed to waiting until next year. So that's the best I can answer it.
So we've had 2 weeks to, discuss this, to consider their offers. We have not had enough time to get input from our residents. Right now, I don't think very many residents are aware of the reduction of commercial retail space. They were reliant on that in this development.
Let's wait until.
So that is, we need to come back to this. This is not right.
Yeah, we can discuss more when the applicants come forward. Councilmember Hernandez.
So I think some of my colleagues have already asked a question, but when is the pilot application due, just to make sure that I understand this?
June 1. June 1st,
June 1st.
2026. Yes, sir.
Does the applicant have any federal or state incentives? I understand from the previous conversation that this program was going to be unviable if there was any city, if there was not city-supported tax revitalization in combination with the county, but that seems to have been cleared up, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we are not able to offer our revitalization tax credit, but from the pro forma that Mr. Williams has provided, and the applicant, again, is here to talk about their financing, but I understand that they do have that, especially using the Opportunity Zone, because this is located in Opportunity Zone. I think they have some preferential financing for the deal. That's my understanding, but I'll let the applicant provide you more information.
When does the Opportunity Zone, like when is it reassessed?
I believe it's December. Is it December?
No, I think we're going to see some, the Big Beautiful Bill as a result. We should see some data come out mid to late summer.
Yeah, I think around July.
July, yeah.
Yep.
But I think that I believe there is a date that some of this has to be done by, from the standpoint, kind of like
Well, the palette has to.
that has to be done by a certain date, which is by the end of the year.
So I don't know who this question is to, but, so am I to understand that the applicant is requesting or has requested city, county, and also federal incentives in order to complete their project?
So federal incentives would be the Opportunity Zone, which is already granted. It's there.
Sure.
By location. The county is the palette that we're trying to move forward.
I understand.
With. Okay.
But,
then the city, no, because they don't qualify for it because of the detailed site plan has already been submitted, which disqualifies them for consideration for revitalization tax credits. Certainly, there could be a conversation had about other financial assistance that we could provide.
Happy to have those conversations when the time comes. I'm sorry, forgive me. I'm really confused about you said the federal legislation of the bill that the Trump administration passed. What does that have to do with this particular project?
The Opportunity Zone is part of the reformulation of the Opportunity Zone bill is within the Big Beautiful Bill, and those laws and those I should say the legislation has not been released yet as far as the opportunity zones are concerned. So you have the Big Beautiful Bill, but you don't have the final pieces of instruction about the opportunity zones, which will be released July or August.
Ms. Hedgeworth, you can respond.
Mr. Williams has explained this is about as clear as we can, because there is a lot of murkiness in regards to the way that the opportunity zones will be established by the administration, but it does look like there's going to be enhanced funding for opportunity zones, and especially projects like this that incentivize housing. And because we do have a mixed use, we have don't want to just say mixed use, but we have a certain amount of AMI in it. So it is prioritizing those types of projects. My understanding is from doing some research, but again, I think the developer can probably explain his financing much better than we can, and we can be able to assist you further after that.
I think it's helpful to understand, for the residents to understand, if there's enhanced financing coming because of this legislation, fantastic. All right, let's work together, because I'm sure they have their minimum requirements for AMI and the rooming, right? So let's all strike a balance, but we kind of just need to know the data that we're talking about. So I understand that the legislation's already passed, so someone has an understanding of what's to come in the opportunity zone, right? And it would be helpful for the public to be aware of what we're having. I mean, if they've already shared with you the matrix, right? Like, they've let us look under the hood, per se, for their financial plan, right? I'm just trying to understand how much federal incentives are going to be coming towards this project in order for us to make an informed decision of supporting or not supporting the pilot at the county. And just to be clear, I'm fully aware that the county doesn't really need our approval. Like, they can do it without us anyways. I want to understand, because I don't know.
We will have the developers speak to the opportunity zone and the expectations that they may have with the legislation coming out. I certainly have no new information about how it could help and what the numbers are to reflect how it would help the developer, any other developer in the area. And recall that there's just certain parts of College Park, the city of College Park, that lies within the opportunity zone. So just want to make sure everybody understood that.
Thank you.
In page 125 of our packet, there is a section on the opportunity zone, by the way.
We say opportunity zone one more time. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that it?
All right, I see Councilman Ranker. Is there a new hand or old hand? Okay, go ahead.
So just to clarify again, there's no city dollars right now.
There are absolutely no city dollars being considered. We are looking to get a release and a support letter going to the county for the county's payment in lieu of taxes letter and authorization. So
Great.
right now, the developer has not requested any funds from the city of College Park. It is only a support letter that's up for your consideration. Although I do respect all of the questions, and we've had a ton of them this week, and it's actually been very, I say very challenging, but very fun to talk to different people on the development team about what they're doing, about the expectations of our council, and what your concerns are. So I've shared that with the development team throughout the week and throughout the evenings as well. But yeah, we're not asking, and I'm sorry, not we, but the developer is not requesting any funds right now from the city.
And could you clarify, so the original site plan was under a business called JTI, which sold to our applicants. Our applicants are not the original developers of this site plan.
Not the original owners, I would say. Mr. McDonald, would you want to care to talk about the history
I
of
can
that?
probably elaborate a little bit, Councilman. The original purchaser was a subject to purchaser, which is JPI. And the reason that Mr. Horn is here is he was the legal counsel that went through the zoning process with JPI, so he's familiar from the beginning before it then became our control and later on, so he'd be able to be better at answering all of your questions, historically speaking. After they got zoning approval, they still now had to close on the ground. They weren't able to close on the ground, so they kicked out the contract. At the point that the contract kicked out, it became two parcels where we purchased one and Monument purchased the other one. And so after that, we both went separately through the zoning approvals with all the changes, and I think it was still based upon the original JPI. Now, there was a comment last week that there was 45,000 square feet of retail planned on this site. At the time, JPI had both sites, so they're planning a global, which I really wasn't a part of, and I'd never seen the plan. But there was a 45,000 square foot gym on that original application that JPI had. When we got involved, and we've gone through 7 amendments, our amount of retail significantly changed. That was on the first application. But if you had specific questions, I think Mr. Horn would be able to answer them.
So the first revision after you became owners significantly reduced the retail space?
They were both separated pieces now, to where there was one that was Monument piece and then there's one that was our piece, Metropolitan. The very first change of our application, which theirs was, they had a lot of different things. They had the gym that was spoken earlier. They also had condos. They had a different program than we did. And I'm not sure what they planned on the Monument site, but they had a lot more land to do a bunch of different things. So I don't know exactly, but Mr. Horn would be able to explain that to you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
We have actually 2 more questions from Councilor Hugh and then Councilmember Simmons. Councilor Hugh, please go ahead.
Good to go? Okay, yes, thank you. Mr. Williams, in your in the packet, you explained to us what different AMIs look like, and however, you failed to mention what the ratio of the 100% and 120% AMI results in actual rent, capacities that might be listed for the other AMI levels. So what is it for the 100% and 120 AMI?
I believe that we did that or run about 2 weeks ago. So I'll send it out to you as soon as possible. Yeah, we went to, I believe what you're describing now is that we gave you in an earlier email and maybe in the packet. I haven't looked at the packet tonight, but you have an 85% AMI, and then we went down to the 60% level to show what those rent prices would be. And I thought that the focus would be on trying to keep us at the 60%. So, you know, I'll be more than happy to share with you what 80, 100, and then 120 looks like. No problem.
Yes, that would be important because I already did the research. At 100 and 128% BMI, that's market rate. So for 24 units, we're only going to get 12 that would be considered market rate. Not market rate, but affordable.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is just a joke.
Thank you. Let's come back to Councilmember Simmons.
Thank you. I wanted to say, I don't think I said this already, but thank you to staff. I really loved hearing you talk about having had fun over the course of the last week with the many questions. So thank you for doing quick work and the coordination and the information that you've been able to get to us. And thank you to my colleagues just now. I'm realizing I have more questions through the course of conversation. I have, I think, 3 more for staff probably. The first one is really just some information about the county pilot, whether it's for Mr. Williams or Ms. Bailey Hedgepeth. I don't know that I understand, like, if this project doesn't get a pilot, does that benefit go elsewhere in the county? Like, is there a set amount of, I'm seeing shaking of heads.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to bring Art Horn up here, who's.
Well, I really would like to hear from staff
Okay.
first, if possible. I think I'm just trying to understand, like, if this benefit does not come to College Park for this project, does it go elsewhere in the county? Is it like a net thing? How are we working here?
I just give it a shot. It's not competitive, meaning that someone. Greenbelt would get it if we don't take it, something like that. No, it's not competitive. That's the best way I could address it.
That is somewhat my understanding as well, is that I believe that the county makes a decision on, these on a case-by-case basis, and they decide, because you're abating taxes for a property for a certain amount of years for a certain portion of the taxes. So it's really from the standpoint of what kind of economic development benefit is that going to bring to the county and to the city, and the county council would make that decision based on the size and scope of the particular development. So that's more of what it is. I mean, you just can't have hundreds and hundreds, but if you have, good developments that need this kind of help, the county is usually willing to provide tax abatements for that. And so they have the mechanism within the state law to do that. And so that's what the county council would be making the decision based on. And so at a particular time.
That's really helpful. Do we know, kind of at a general level, and I think you've already spoken to this, but like how the county assesses the requests for pilots? Like, what are they looking at to make the decision, yay or nay?
I mean, from the standpoint of looking at these, and I'm somewhat I'm trying to, from my looking at other pilots that I've seen, whether the greater economic development, viability, the type of housing, if it's supporting the community needs, things like that. They'll be looking at, those size and scope, the amount of investment that the developers are making, things like that, to offer those kinds of tax abatements. And if I'm wrong, please. I know that Ms. Bader is also online, and some other staff as well. But I mean, that's where my understanding is that those are the things. And Mr. Williams, please break in if I have not said everything that is considered. And again, I would say that some of this is is a process. The reason why they're coming to both of us at the same time is to see if, the city is supportive, so that when they go to the county, it strengthens their application to show the community support for the particular project. And that is a factor that they will look at, is that, does the city of College Park support this kind of development? Do they support the development of this project?
Okay, thank you. 2 other questions. I know we heard the property owner speak to Councilmember Hughes' concern about the reduction of retail space. I'm curious if staff has anything to add to that. I will say I tried to go and find where it was that larger amount of retail space, and I wasn't able to locate it. Although I know it's in Councilmember Hughes' attic as well. So
I want to say that through the amendments, that it started out as 41 or 45,000 square feet, and through several amendments by the planning board, by the way, by the Prince George's County Planning Board.
Not by us.
Mm-hmm. And I think the other, just as far as a location where when you go on the planning board's website for that DSP, you'll see several iterations of it over the years. And I believe you won't see every single set of site plans on there. So I was only able to pull up the last few site plans, but some of them are there. So that's where it shows. It shows the different dates. And I believe sometimes in the comments, what I saw, I guess maybe let's say in 2016, was that I think about 8,100 or something square feet of retail that was noted. Mm-hmm. So it does show some of it, but to be honest with you, I'm going to say Mr. Horn, because he's had the most experience with this particular project all the way through, and it is something that has been, in some ways going on between the fact that there was the 2 parcels were split, the site development was changed over the years. I mean, you can see that change to an extent through the DSP process, but there are 9 DSPs for this when you go to the website itself.
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you. I think when we do speak with Mr. Horn, I would be curious to hear a little bit more of the history. I know I have one more question for staff, so not right at this moment, but I think hearing a little bit about how that broke out across the different properties and at what point the majority of that reduction occurred, I think would be really helpful. Last question. Why is the DSP still valid? I think that you all have answered this question before, but I would really like to hear a little bit more information about that.
I will do my best to answer this as I can. When this particular DSP was done back, I believe in 2003, 2004, and I think I wrote a little piece on it, but that it was because the development actually began with the building of the townhouses, it sort of froze the DSP itself because they were both included at the same time. So that in some ways, and then with the new zoning code, my understanding is, and I'm very much paraphrasing this, and again, I will rely on someone who has a little bit more knowledge on it, but that in the 2022 zoning rewrite, they limited the amount of time, but because this occurred before the zoning rewrite, this is called a legacy DSP, and when you go to the website, you'll see that there's called a legacy DSP, and it has been grandfathered in of sorts, or vested because of the actual first portion of the property being developed. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it vested because of the townhouses?
Correct.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So
that is clarifying
Does it make
for
sense
me.
from planner
Yes,
speak? I'm trying to do
Yeah.
my best.
Yes,
in
no, that's
planner.
really helpful.
Thank you. Okay.
Director Bader actually wants to talk, maybe.
Oh, yes. I'm just going to confirm what Michelle said, that I talked to the county and they said, yes, since they built the townhomes, then it was vested, that they started. So it doesn't expire because they did build the townhomes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So it's confirmed now. You're happy.
I understand.
All right, we have one more. Don't go away. Mayor Pro Tem Mackey.
Yes, thank you. A lot of my questions got answered, and the last one I had, Mr. Williams, is you said that the 60% AMI is what we're talking about now, right?
There are going to be an allotment of basically 24 units to be considered income sensitive to AMI, and I believe the number is, help me, Chris, about 25% of those units, 6 of those units will go to the level, will go down or reach the level of 60% AMI.
Okay, so 6 of the 24.
So 24, yes, 6 of the 24, yep.
Okay. Thank you, that was my question.
Thank you.
All right, Councilor Hernandez?
Forgive me, one more question. Is that in perpetuity? And will it, when a particular unit is made vacant, will that rate continue?
That's a really good question, and I want to pass it on to ownership because it's always been my understanding, even with some of the other apartments that we have here, I won't name them, that your AMI changes could change over your income level could change, so the dollar amount, you could still be 60%, but the dollar amount.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, but I'll let.
All right.
Well, I mean, there'll be part of the total negotiations when we're with the county talking about what they want, because they may have another list too.
Okay. So to be clear,
It may change. That's
yes,
what it is.
it seems like a moving target with this affordable legislation here. Okay. Thank
Just
you.
the dollar amount, but you could still be at 60%.
Sure,
Yeah.
at one point, right? But just so it's clear for all of our residents, the intent and spirit of what the council is trying to do with these affordability clauses is to try to maintain and open spaces for people to be able to live and work, without having to worry about what roof is over their head. But as things change, this is very complex. This is not anyone's particular fault. It's very complex. You have to consider that folks will get married, or their salaries will increase from just job perspectives. Then what do you do with that 60% unit? They may move. Then is that unit available for others? All I'm saying is I understand it's complex. I'm just trying to have a good understanding as to what we need to know in order to inform our vote.
Thank you. You have one more, Councilor Oates.
Sorry, we love you, so we're keeping you up here. The question I had was actually pertaining to the draft letter, and I noted that there. So I think what's for us to consider is our draft letter of support, right?
Yes.
Is what we're taking a decision on, and in that there's language related to this piece of the developer will explore the possibility of up to 10% of workforce units for residents with some incomes of 60% of AMI. I think my question is why it's reflected in that way, given that the staff report says that there's a more detailed agreement. And I think given some of our previous discussions on other projects, wanting it to be eminently clear, like what is it that we are actually approving in a letter that then is going to the next stage. And
I believe the initial draft letter was written before the applicant made the change on the record in the last meeting, and I think it was something that staff didn't catch. But we will document this, and once the council decide to make a decision, we will document this and see if we can, if the site plan does change, we would try to document this in the covenants for this development. So. Again, we try to turn this around pretty quickly, and so I think that's the reason why that's not in the letter, but the applicant on the record made that promise to the council in the last meeting, so we want to make sure that we were consistent with their promise in the meeting and bringing that to you today, if that makes sense. So it's in one part, but not in the other. I think it's in the staff report, but I don't believe it's in the letter. Is that what you're saying, Councilman?
Yeah, and so I think my inclination would be that if we're approving of the letter, that the letter also be updated.
Yes, they will be up
to better reflect.
They will be both reflecting the same thing.
Good catch. Thank you. Councilor Ranker. And then Councilor Hill. Oh, you're right.
Well, this is a follow-on to that. I'm curious who drafted the letter that's in our packet at page 127. Was that staff or was that the applicant?
No, it's staff. It has to be staff.
It was the applicant, and and it was partly the applicant and staff, because that was the original letter that we provided to you in the last packet, and and in some ways we're trying to work it out at this level here, but that is most of it is the same from the last council meeting.
That's helpful to understand, and I think I did understand that last time that the draft letter in the packet was from the applicant. I think, and I have not polled my colleagues about this, so I'm open to being in the minority here, but I think in the future, even if the applicant or the property owner does provide a draft of a letter, I would really love to see the letter in the packet be the one that is generated solely from staff, even if we're kind of pulling from an applicant's letter.
Just for the record,
Yeah.
thank you. In the last part of that, and I kind of fumbled up a little bit because we were trying to make sure that no assistance from the city would be included in the letter to the county. So it kind of really got focused in on that and kind of let it all go after that. So as you can see, we don't have any language speaking to assistance from the city, and then just the focus was there. But yeah, I do agree that most times when we do have letters of support or work that we generate is ours. So.
No, I totally understand it. It seems like you've been kind of balancing a lot, but I do think there is value in having the letter from the city be in the city's voice coming from city staff through council. So I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
All right, is it Councilor Hugh or Councilor Ranker who is first?
He can go.
Councilor Hugh, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So, Mr. Williams and staff, how is it that DSP changes are allowed without the input of the community that originally approved it? Sounds like a process that's being done behind closed doors to our disadvantage. We promised and we worked hard with our residents to reach an agreement originally, and this gets all undermined. So is this acceptable? Is this a common practice? This is what actually took place?
Miriam has her hand up, so I think she's going to answer some of this, but I can answer it after, I can chime in after Miriam.
Director Beta.
Okay. So what the parking planning, they have a classification of a minor amendment, and they have it all specified on what's considered a minor amendment. And a minor amendment determined by staff through this formula can get the approval at the planning director's level. This is the county planning director, okay, not the city planning director, the county planning director. So when they changed the amount of commercial space, that was considered a minor amendment. Therefore, it just went to the county. It didn't rise to the level of being a major amendment. When it's a major amendment, then it goes back before the planning board, and it would go back before the city council too.
Yes, however, when Monument wanted to reduce their amount of retail space, they had to come before the city. You had to come back before the resident to get their DSP adjusted for that. And this was even a grosser amount of change, not a minor change. And this impacts our taxes, because we won't collect the business taxes, commercial taxes off of this. This impacts our community, where the amenities that we planned on, the walkable nodes, every amenity and this is doing such a disservice to our community, and it's considered a minor adjustment. 41,000 to 3,700. That's not a minor adjustment.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Ranker.
Oh, and one more thing.
Councilor.
Yeah. So just to be clear, we're getting at 60% 6 units AMI, at 80% 6 units AMI, at 100% AMI 6 units, and at 120 6 units. At 100 and 120, you are at market rate. There's no discount happening there. That is insignificant. So really, out of 244 units, we're going to get 12 units for affordability. That's 5% of the development. You came back with a worse offer than what was originally asked.
So only applicant can respond to that, hold on to that. If there is no other question from Mr. Hill, let's
That
go
was
to,
it. That's-
can I go to Councilor Mitchell because she hasn't spoken yet? Please.
You don't have to, just don't press it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To Director Bader, I want to go back to the question that ducktown to Councilman Hugh. I want to be correct and hear what you said. You said that the county planning director, when they make minor amendments, that's approved by the county planning director, correct? And there's not.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so my second question, when the county planning director makes these approval, there is no notification sent to the city's planning director about those minor amendments? And if
We
that
are
is the case, then the
notified
county,
that there is a request for a minor amendment, yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, yes, the planning director is notified, the city planning director is notified that there is a minor amendment in process. What we've done traditionally is that if it's a minor amendment, we don't refute that. I mean, it's a minor amendment.
No, I'm
So
I'm
it's-
not, I
yeah,
guess what I'm getting to the line of is the communication in regards
Yes.
to that there was minor amendments to the plan, but the body at the time was not notified of those minor amendments. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Can I go to Councilor Ranker and then Councilor Hernandez?
Yes, so then just a couple of clarifications. What we're doing is sending a letter. It's not part of a declaration of covenants
No.
at this point. Is that correct?
Yes.
That is correct. Correct.
That is correct.
Correct.
That is correct.
Okay, and so really then, we send this letter, and the county can do whatever they want with it. They can, if we set certain terms, they can rip it up and do something else. They can require more than we, or.
Yeah, they could require more, they could make other, yes, they can make other amendments. And then our amendments would be, that would also probably have to be, part of the declaration of covenants for it, if the county does it as well. If they make those kind, they'd have to go to the DSP and probably would want to add those to the DSP as well.
And then for a support for, I can't recall, I've only been here for a year. When there is a request for support for a pilot, what might be our usual community engagement before, is.
Have we done any pilot recently? I cannot think of.
We've done a
We
a
haven't.
pilot recently. It's a very good question. I tell you, the developer discussion starts at the planning level, and then economic development really gets kicked in when you start talking about incentives. And even on this deal, even though we're not talking about tax credits, we are talking about a pallet for coming through the county. So community development, the community engagement would be something that we would look for our council members as well as our planning department to organize and help answer the questions that may come as a result of those. And I feel like this week we've answered a ton of questions about the community, what the community wants, and just offering clarity on what the project is really all about and who the owner is. And so, although I've not been a part of a community meeting this week or last week, I have fielded, I would say, well over 100 questions with regard to the project.
Understood. So, so I guess maybe then this will come later. The question is what kind of, or maybe this is a better question for us now is, where else in the process would community engagement be helpful? Or are we past the stage? I guess, right, if they didn't want a pilot, they could have built yesterday.
I feel like I hate to use that word, I feel, but I think that the council has an opportunity at this point to collaboratively work with this developer, and as things arise in the development and some of the items that they're offering for some of the improvements, that we have an active communication with them, even though part of it is currently under the development of Declaration of Covenants. But I think this is an opportunity to start that relationship and to work with this developer on the development itself. And I think that's where I think where the reason why we brought this to council as soon as we started talking to them is because we wanted the council to be involved and to kind of guide us to say, you know, talk to the community, get information. But the timeline with the county for the pilot is a certain timeline, but that doesn't mean that we stop talking. Does that make sense? And so I think that, you know, if we have that opportunity, and if council directs us to continue to work with this developer, see what their outreach is to the community, answering questions, things like that, I think that's a good relationship, and I think that's what they're trying to start. So I would like to let the developer talk about how they want to work with us moving forward.
Great. And then, hopefully then, maybe this is going to be my final question for staff. We'll
Please.
see. If the county does approve the pilot, is it good as long as the DSP is good? I mean, what's the timeline?
DSP is forever, right? DSP is forever.
It's until
It's forever.
Wow. So the county pilot would be good for when?
Well, the county probably has their own, I'm not going to talk about what the county pilot would do, but I mean, I think that they probably have timelines, but I cannot answer that. I'll let the developer answer that.
I know Councilman Hernandez when I speak. I know when the JPI was pursuing their old DSP many years ago, the community was very much involved, and Councilor Hugh, you could probably remember, the North College Park Community Association were very much engaged in discussing that DSP. So this time, I'm not sure there is an effort in reaching out to the North College Park Community Association. So I see there is a difference. Councilor Hernandez, please go ahead.
I want to make sure that it's clear for folks, because the timeline here of this project is quite large. Director Bader, if you could just quickly share with us, when was it that they shared that the retail was changing? Do you have a date for that?
Yeah, I mean, according to my memory, I think it was like 2012, 2013. I mean, it was many years ago, so it wasn't anything recent.
Thank you. No, I like, this wasn't this is for the residents, right? Like, this wasn't something that happened out of the blue a year ago, a week ago. It happened over a decade ago when the change happened. And I understand my colleagues' frustrations, and I would love to see more retail north of Maryland 193, personally. I understand that might not necessarily be like fully supported by the numbers across the county, but any investment north of Maryland 193 is always something that I'm interested in seeing. That being said, I don't think any of the existing memory that's up here had that notification in like recent times. So it's important as we move forward that we understand that staff didn't just find out about that like last week and we just didn't incorporate it into our decision making today. It's been over a decade.
Correct.
Thank you. Councilmember Simmons, hopefully this is the very last one.
Very quick, one more question for Director Bader. I know that we heard that you did receive notice of the minor amendment to the DSP. When was that? Do you happen to know when that was?
Okay, so what I was talking about is generically, when there is a minor amendment, then we are notified that a minor amendment has been proposed.
Yeah.
So if we're talking specifically about when the minor amendment came to reduce the amount of commercial space.
No, the one that's currently going through approvals at the county level right now with the planning director.
Okay, so I think the most current one might have been 3 years ago. I mean, that's off the top of my head. Probably the developer knows exactly when.
Okay, I think I do probably need clarification from the
Maybe-
development
Maybe
team.
when
then.
applicant comes in, they
Yeah,
can respond.
yeah, because I thought there was a minor amendment to the DSP currently under consideration. I'm seeing Mr. Horn nod his head. Okay, so I'll
All right,
hold
let's
my
bring
question.
the applicant. Mr. Horn, please
ready?
just introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Arthur, for your patience.
Good afternoon, or good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. For the record, Arthur Horn with the law offices of Shipley and Horn in Largo, Maryland. Very pleased to be here. It's absolutely my first time in the new building, so it's just a beautiful building. I mean, in this room, so I appreciate the opportunity. I would say 99% of all the conversation I heard here this afternoon is correct. Every statement that has been made would be correct. There is a current request for a DSP minor amendment. What happens is the request is filed, staff looks at it, and then they send a referral to City of College Park. If it's, depending on what it is, and this request is to go back to the original approval that had 244 units. I think my number is right, because it had been dropped down to 238 previously. I do want to confirm that Ms. Bader is correct that it was 2013 and DSP 03 where the amount of retail was dropped to about a little over 4,000 square feet. The client came to me and they indicated that they're ready to move forward with the development, and but they needed a pilot with the county, and that's not really, in this financing stuff, that's not really my area. I just do the land use. I said to them, I said, well, they asked me what should I do. I said the first thing you need to do is go to the City of College Park and just see if you can get their support. And see if you get a letter of support from the City of College Park, then that will help you with your application process. I guess I was naive. I've been practicing almost 40 years because I thought that it would just be a process where, the city would want to have a development, and if the county saw fit to do a pilot, then it would go forward. I heard that there was a lot of questions about what's going on, and that's fine. Again, those numbers, they can work those things out. But I just wanted to focus in on the fact that tonight, really, we're just here to ask for a letter to go to the county to say it's okay, or that you all would like to see a development take place, and for them, it's okay for them to consider a pilot. That's really it. All the information about, since it's not involved with the city tech, all the information about the financing and stuff is something that is really interesting that the developer is willing to share, because that's not normal for them to talk about what their development, what their situation is. They have an obligation to build what was approved with the DSP. They're indicating that they cannot do that without financial help. And the financial help starts with trying to get some financial relief. And again, I don't understand the federal tax regulations or anything. I don't really follow the pilot process. Let me talk about the 99%. One of the things that was stated, I want to make sure is clear. To my knowledge, June 1st is not the deadline, as you have to have the application in June 1st. June 1st is the time period that they accept their application so that they can have time to review it and go through the process for this time period right here, for this period. So I just want to make sure it's clear. It's not like if they accepted June 2nd, you're still okay. The time period is around June, but it's not a hard deadline. I didn't want anybody to think that we're saying we need to have it in now. And as you all have met, they have the financial group, Minicap, who files these pilots and sometimes tips on behalf of many applicants, they're indicating that this is the time period that this has to be in. So I wanted to point that out. Historically, like we said, this first approval occurred back in 2006. And there have been several amendments that have taken place over the years. Ms. Bader's correct. What happens is, if it's a minor amendment, sometimes it depends on the status of the amendment. Sometimes the property is posted, and sometimes letters go out. Not all the time. It all depends on, like you said, the level of the request that's being made. You can ask for the property not to be posted if the staff person, if the planning director considers it such insignificance that it wouldn't matter. Again, I don't have any personal recollection of what happened on any one of these amendments. I do know, despite the statement that something was done behind closed doors, that was never the case. The applications were always filed in accordance with the recommendations of the rules and regulations of the county. The old regulations have now been updated as of 2022, but as far as filing applications, the process was followed accurately, and the planning director at that time, whoever that may have been, made that decision. I know I'm not answering all the questions, but I just think, because they're the money people, they can tell you. And I know y'all have a lot of questions about that.
Mr. Horn, appreciate your comments. The reason we are having so many discussions because of the timing. The DSP was approved so long ago, yes. and also the pilot is something this council, even previous council, never actually looked into. Yes. This is a new experience, and also you have new council. So most of us do not have all the history.
Yes.
So that's the reason there's so many questions coming to you.
And that's fine. I will answer any questions I can. Like I say, I'm just not the numbers person, so I can't tell you the specifics. But with reference to the process and the timing, I'll be here to answer any questions
Certainly.
that you all may have.
All right. I see a couple of hands. I'm sure there will be more coming from. Please, and you are, this development is in your district, so.
Thank you. Thank you very much to the developer and your team for coming. I do appreciate that you've come to work with us. We've heard many concerns, and I have things that you guys have already modified that I'm happy to see. Updating more 3-bedroom units to make the development more attractive for families with multiple children or extended family, that you are being part of the conversation regarding AMI. I've heard from many comments from my colleagues and many of the residents, with multiple residents writing in more than once. So in aggregate, all of this is contributing to our understanding of the background and nuances of the project, and of course colors the questions we want. And I need you to understand that College Park is a wonderful place, and you'll find residents here are gracious, but committed with great interest to what's going on around them. And so that's really what's driving all of this, is because we want to do well for College Park, the residents of College Park, the ones that are existing, the ones that will be moving in to your development. And so please understand that this is coming from us wanting to do a good job for the city. I have other questions, but I would really like to know, what is the time frame that starts on June 1st? How long does that go for?
Well, again, they've hired Municap, the expert in trying to provide financing for both private developers and for municipalities. I mean, Prince George's County hires Municap as well to do their bond financing and all. They're a nationally known organization. I don't know. I may even been in a meeting where we had that the indication is that they turn in the process with the county around the 1st of June. so that the county can review its process. As far as I know, again, like if you say an application is due on before June 30th, whatever the date you choose, I don't think that there's a specific deadline of June 1st, but I do know from the MuniCap individuals, they said it has to be in by June 1st for them to even consider it for this time period. I mean, again, if you were doing like an application for finances with the state or something, sometimes they have a deadline. The pilot, I don't believe it, and I agree with what Mr. Williams said. If the pilot is not granted to this applicant, it won't go to somebody else. individually, the county considers pilots pursuant to an application that's brought before them, it's used. They use their criteria, based on what was stated here before. What benefit is the developer bringing to the development, and other such criteria that they have to meet. I don't know what all that criteria is for that.
Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, there is a June 1st deadline. The pilot letter of recommendation, the recommendation of the pilot does need to be in by June 1st. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes, it needs to be in so the process can start.
Yes,
I just didn't want you to think that we were saying that the application said if it's not in by June 1st.
Okay.
As far as I know.
Okay. All right. I'll move on.
Okay.
Well, I can help clarify some of that.
Yes.
It was in your packet 2 weeks ago, and I was so quick to just mention June 1st, but to mention the rest of the dates which you're asking about. In that package, and this was given to us by Muni, and they're working on the pilot. We also have a person from Berkadia that's working on the dollars and the HUD, which is sitting behind me. If there's any questions related to that, we can help. But the package that we were given by Keenan said that the June 1st was county pilot application submission with letter of support. September 30th, 2026 is the legislative submission to PG County executives, and then the third quarter, fourth quarter of this year, 2026, pilot review and approve with Prince George's County. So that was the schedule that they gave us.
I see. Thank you. So sort of moving on, one of the things that we tried to convey last session, last week, and I have just heard so many times is this piece that seems to be missing of engagement with residents. And so I understand that the DSP is approved and all of those kinds of things, but in service of being a good neighbor, especially with the history that no one knows better than they do, I would really like to see there be some the developer to organize some discussion with the impacted residents regarding the final phase of the building. So I would consider that to be especially residents and businesses affected by previous flooding after the trees. The developer cleared the trees on the site many years ago. Parking within the structure, and those who use Cherokee Street for their entry and exit home or for their commute. And I feel like this would show a willingness to listen to residents and that they could feel heard and potentially contribute ideas to the discussion. Is that something that, it sounds like that's something that you're willing to do, it's just that there was a tight deadline getting to today. Is that my understanding, that you would be willing to meet with residents?
Yes, I mean, we're willing to meet with residents. We've answered some of your questions, which were probably their questions.
Yes.
Yes, and that we could clarify.
Right.
We did look, we drove by this afternoon, and because we were looking for the fence that we didn't see, for instance. And we did find it, I think. And the reason we didn't see it, it's not on the front part of the project, and it's actually HOA for the townhouses. And so there'd be a complaint to them, and it would be something we'd fix. I know that the issue with the stormwater is with a pipe that we don't own the ground, and it's not our responsibility. And we'd be more than happy to go over all those details with them.
Thank you. So that is my second question, is about the stormwater, because I feel like that was the one that elicited the most unease. That if there's a problem and people's homes are getting flooded, that causes really a lot of damage. And so I wanted to know if there was a way that we could then, I know that you're going to be working with the engineering department and the county and developer to achieve proper stormwater drainage, and you do have liability and flood insurance. All of that is correct, yes?
Would you like to give some more detail, Tim, on where we are on that? Because we've had meetings with the state and other people regarding that. So I think this is a little bit of regurgitation from 2 weeks ago, but it'd be good to clarify.
Okay, and then one specific question that I have is, in what ways there can be essentially a guarantee that that this essentially won't happen, like flooding, not just of your property, but of the surrounding properties due to this development? And also, should that happen, that there would be some guarantee to those residents in the city of College Park that repair and mitigation relief would be offered.
Well, he get into more detail, but the problem with the current flooding isn't even on our site. It's caused from something off-site that we don't really have control of.
Right, and I don't mean that. I'm talking about caused by the developer, the development itself. So thank you for that clarification. I'm only talking about your building and your property.
You want to answer some of that question?
As the
Tim?
reason.
Sure. We currently have an active erosion sediment control permit, and periodically we receive inspection reports from not only the city of College Park, but also from Prince George's County and also the state highway, because there's multiple jurisdictions out there, and we address them immediately. I've had 2 meetings on site, and we constantly maintain the site. We have a maintenance contractor that comes out, cuts the grass, makes sure that the sediment control fencing that you see around the periphery of the site is in place and it's doing its job. The biggest issue that we've encountered was the drainage at the south corner of the property along Route 1, where the inlets, one on our side was completely blocked with everything from automobile hubcaps to silt to whatever. And the same thing was on the west side, the west lane of Route 1 heading south. And we basically cleaned those inlets out, and then we put water into the inlets, and we found the inlet on our side was clear and flowing water. We went into our property, reestablished what they call the outfall, which has riprap to slow the water and stuff like that. But what we found on the west side was that the inlet was not draining. So we sent a television camera up into the pipe from our side heading to the west. And when we went to a point that we were midway through the, up into the far west lane, we found that the pipe had collapsed. So we immediately called the State Highway Administration. They came out and looked at it, and they said, well, that's not your responsibility, that's our responsibility, because we're within literally 7 to 10 feet from the inlet that's on the westbound lane side. And we had no responsibility in that area whatsoever. So what the state highway said was that they were going to have to go back and discuss the condition with their district engineer, and what's going to be required is that the street's going to have to be opened up. And they're going to have to rebuild the pipe basically from the west side to our east side. No, they haven't given us any time. They were going to talk to, again, the 2 other jurisdictions out there because of the impact. There's going to be an impact on traffic movement and things of that nature. So they were going to talk to the City of College Park, Department of Public Works, and the same with Prince George's County.
Wow. All right, I appreciate that. I feel like you answered this, but I'm not sure. So, so it seems like you've demonstrated that, especially now that the project is ramping up again, that when there have been issues, you did what you needed to solve them.
We did what we needed to do, and what we have out there, again, is a temporary facility, so to speak. The ultimate facility will be in the subterranean basement of the building. And there'll be water that's discharged from that point of that, within that vault, over to drain fields that are located within the green space of the townhouse development.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. The next one is a little bit of a jump, and it's to parking. I wanted to know, when we discussed last week, you had said 66 parking spaces on the ground floor, and then that was more than the 45 that was originally sort of spoken to be set aside for the townhome residents. But the way that it was being described last week is that there wasn't any delineation, that this was essentially community parking. And so many residents felt like, well, then if it's full, then it's just full. And so it's essentially they can park there just like everybody else, which isn't in the spirit of what was asked, or probably even the letter. And so I wanted to know, just sort of thinking if there are other avenues of making that a carve out for the 45, whether it could be something like a sign, or separated in some way, or anything like that that's on the property. I don't know how enforcement would work. I don't know how the logistics would be, but this was important to many of the residents of the townhomes.
We haven't had a discussion with a parking management company yet. I mean, the one thing you don't want to see in a parking garage is that you consume all the parking spaces and more cars keep coming in, and tie up the drive aisles and things like that. So we have to sit down with a property management or parking management group and discuss how we can control that. And typically what you do, and there's some existing buildings out there right now that have basically control arms, and they count the number of cars and things of that nature. And then again, there's a physical separation, so to speak, between that grade level that has the retail and visitor parking, so to speak, at the top of the ramp that takes you up to the residential parking component. That you'll have a clicker or a pass or something like that. The resident will pay for to go ahead and go into that secured portion of the garage.
Right, but so I don't mean between the residents of the structure and others. I mean the residents of the townhome and others. So
yeah, there's going to have to be gate arms, at the point of ingress and egress out of the garage, which is one point off of Cherokee Street, to control that issue over, basically overtaxing the 66 parking spaces.
it's still not what I mean.
Okay.
I mean that the 66 units, the 66 spaces, that 45 of them go to the townhomes and their guests, as opposed to the community at large.
Well, I mean, that can be achieved through signage.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Director Bader has her hands up.
Yes, so to clarify that, yes, in the Declaration of Covenants, they need to set aside units for the townhomes. That's what they always promise. So yes, they'll have that arm, and then they should be designated for townhome residents, labeled that way. And then there should just be a small number, since they reduced the amount of retail parking, they don't need as much retail parking spaces. So then they can just designate when you first enter in, before you go through the arm, that these will be retail spaces. So out of that, 66 spaces? Let's say 10 would be, I'm sorry?
21.
Whatever that number was, I think it was like 66, right? So let's say 6 or 10 are devoted to retail. That would be in the front before you go through the arm. The arm is then you would have a resident card. So you're in the townhome, you're given a key card, and then you go into that part which would have the townhome spaces. So it's definitely gonna be designated for townhome residents. It's not gonna be all just one mush of parking spaces. There'll just be some that are designated for retail. That's the way that it was written in the Declaration of Covenants.
And so that will be achievable?
Or the intent. I'm sorry,
Okay.
go ahead.
I was asking the developer.
Yes,
That
I mean,
be
we
achievable?
would have signage that designates, who's going to park where and so forth.
Okay. All right, thank you. As far as the trees, the 2.5 acres of trees, I know that the PG Planning Board determines, whether there's available land, but should there be available land, we would like the trees to be prioritized to go into College Park.
What they require on trees is they want you to basically reforest areas within the watershed that the actual development falls in. And in this case, you have to have 2.5 acres to go ahead and plant your reforestation. And there has to be a permanent covenant put onto the property that basically says these trees are going to be there in perpetuity. So Park and Planning is going to require us to, along with the city, to say you have this area or you don't have this area. And if you don't have this area, then Park and Planning will say, well, we'll require you to plant in this area some other place, or you pay a fee in lieu of. So it's all in the control of Park and Planning Commission.
Okay, and does it have to be contiguous?
Excuse me?
Does it have to be contiguous? Is it possible to have?
My experience in the past has been contiguous, yes.
Okay. All right, and finally, I'm not quite sure what the solution of this is, but there's a lot of concern about, sorry, this is not finally. My numbers are messed up. I'm going to ask about the UMD shuttle, the shuttle to University of Maryland. Is that a you have a shuttle on the premises and you'll hire a company that will operate it, or is it that you're paying a fee to the University of Maryland so that the UMD or one of the existing UMD shuttles comes up to your property?
The language reads that there's options, that you could enter into a consortium with other developers and have a common shuttle bus, that traverses that area down to the city. You could run the shuttle bus yourself, or you can contribute. One of the thoughts was that in the discussions that I've been party to, that there's multiple shuttle bus systems out there running around. They're saying, the roads are being clogged by all these different shuttle buses. Why not just have one system and each development goes ahead and makes an annual contribution on the operating expenses? So it's still up in the air where there needs to be a conversation and resolution between the city of College Park and the development community, so to speak.
All right, my preference, I don't know that I speak for my colleagues, but my preference would be to join with an existing shuttle and not.
Can I comment on that about the bus? Yes, so I was there when we put that feature in the DSP for JPI, and it was supposed to be not for a university shuttle, because students weren't supposed to live in the JPI East and West Monument and Metropolitan developments under the original DSP. It was supposed to be for workforce housing, and that shuttle was supposed to be running to the metro. It would be a convenience to take the cars off the road from the two developments, from the whole JPI development, and have a shuttle to go directly to the metro, so that individual cars wouldn't have to make that trip. And at the time, and even till now, the metro buses don't run as frequent, and they've changed the routes, and it's even more inconvenient for the North College Park community to get to the metro. So that shuttle was meant for going to the metro for the
Thank you. Let's follow the orders. So let's Councilmember Jordan and then Councilmember Hernandez, then we can come back to Councilmember Hill.
The reason that I asked about the UMD shuttle is because when this was introduced to us, it was listed as this is workforce housing particularly for UMD employees. And so that's why I asked about the UMD shuttle. I think I will let my colleagues ask questions now. Thank you very much.
Certainly. Let's go to Councilor Hernandez.
Okay, first, while we're all here, can someone please find us the deadline of when this pilot application is needed? We've heard September 30th. We've heard June 1st. It'd be really, really helpful from a decision-making perspective for us to know what our final timeline is here. Please, I'm sure it's public, right? Like these applications are public. Mr. Horn, what's that? Okay, Mr. Horn, just one comment to your introduction. This isn't just a letter, right? This is council action. So that's why we're going to be very deliberative as to understanding why, because we speak on behalf of our residents. So, despite that dismissive comment, I am inclined to support a letter of approval for the pilot, but I do have some conditions. And I'm very clear. I think the applicant is very, his candor is excellent, and it really speaks to his willingness to work with the community. So I'll just tell you straight out, sir. One, if we can organize a discussion with the impacted residents regarding the final building phase of the project. I get that there's been previous discussions for DSPs the entirety of the process, probably over a decade ago. But, I mean, some folks feel a certain way about, not having had their parking garage, the trees being torn down. I think we need to give them an opportunity or a platform for them to be able to speak to some of those concerns in order for us to move forward with an approval. If and when there are serious considerations, serious recommendations that come from that meeting, I think that the developer should take some serious considerations in implementing those. I hope to be able to exchange that at a later point for some sort of economic development tool that we have. And in terms of infrastructure development as a part of the developer's overall project plan, I don't know if it's too late to include this or if it is, but what I'd like to see is pedestrian lighting and infrastructure all along your northern end of your property, which is the southern side of Cherokee, including the townhomes of that particular lot. So it would go from Route 1, right, down to the end of the townhomes. I say this because I know that those property owners went through the understanding that they had garage parking, and then they're going to get this parking in the from the parking lot that we're getting. So I'm hoping that we could potentially do no parking on that side, but that's a future pipe dream. In the meantime, I'd like to see just lighting and sidewalks on that side. Yes,
Can I
sir.
say something? When we went out there, the lighting is installed all the way to the east, to the end of the townhouses, and stops. There's a single-family house next to the townhouses, but we have street lights all the way down, existing today.
Forgive me, I got excited then. I don't know if you've seen the Flats one, and I'm not saying that you should adopt their model, but that larger sidewalk with those really bright lights helps encourage some of the pedestrian walkability. I don't know if we can get anywhere near there from where we're at currently, but that's something that I would warmly welcome.
But we're going to continue what's installed out there
Sure.
all the way up to Baltimore Avenue. It'll be consistent. The streetscape will be consistent across the townhouses and adjacent to our apartment building up to Baltimore Avenue.
Outstanding. Thank you. And like I said, I'm inclined to support it. I think if we can figure out when the deadline is, have a meeting with the residents before the deadline, get some output, we can work towards getting a letter of approval.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Councilor Jordan?
Yes, very briefly.
Back.
I did want to disclose that I spoke with the developer earlier today. It was not intentional. I had called Michael Williams and had a question about exactly that, the lighting and the sidewalk. And Mr. McDonald called at the same time, and so he's like, well, you can ask him. So I just wanted to disclose that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Hill?
Yes, thank you. What are the chances of you going back and honoring the original DSP when it comes to retail commercial space.
When we purchased the ground, we purchased it with the program that we currently have on the DSP now. And I know, I never studied the JPI plan, but I know they were doing condominiums, which we don't build at all. And that's the extent. So we've gone through a lot of approvals over decades, and this is what we intend to build.
So the first floor of the portion facing Route 1 was supposed to be all retail. That's what the community initially agreed upon for the DSP for JPI, which you purchased. Since then, you've gone behind the doors with the county, making changes to that without the residents or the city, the council's knowledge. This is why we're upset. We're also upset, insulted by your affordable housing scheme of the percentage of AMI. The only way I can possibly get behind this is by restoring the 41,000 square feet of commercial retail and perhaps entertaining a affordable housing proposal of 15% instead of 10%, and of that 15%, 10% at 60% AMI, or 5% and 5% being at 80% AMI. So, I mean, those are not unreasonable requests. I think that you can come up to those numbers, both on the retail side and the affordable housing. You know, we never asked for affordable housing on this initially because 20 years ago, that wasn't a topic. But it is now, and you're building now, you delayed to this point, and this is where we're at.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's see, Councilmember Simmons and Councilmember Mitchell.
Thank you. I think I do want to start by saying that this circumstance in some ways seems just a little bit unfortunate with like the vesting of the townhouses. So the vesting of the approval with the townhouses so many years ago. And then there being some minor amendments that council wasn't aware of, and a lot of history with this site, which we talked about at length last week, and again this week, a lot of concerns from our residents, which I think Councilmember Jordan outlined a lot of those, and Councilmember Hughes certainly has expressed his concerns as well. I know we've heard from other council members about just kind of like long-standing concerns. With all of that said, I know I said this last week, I want to say it again this week. I am really heartened that you all are here now. And I'm glad to hear that you are open to doing some engagement with the community. I think that is, to take it a step back, I think we all were just really appreciative last week of your candor in terms of your finances and your motivations and your thoughts about the project. Frankly, even coming here without your representation last week, there were just so many things that I think we saw that were refreshing in certain ways, and I think give me hope for a positive relationship going forward. And I want to treat you as humans in the same way that I like to be treated as a human. And I recognize from your financing that you are looking at making an incredibly significant personal investment in the city of College Park. I don't know if that message is coming across as clearly this evening as it does in the materials that we received, but I really want to recognize that a lot of this project is being supported, and staff and property owners, applicants, you all can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I'm gathering that a lot of this is supported by just a really substantial personal investment on the part of the property owners. And it's also, looking to leverage outside the opportunity zone financing, which I will admit I do not fully understand. However, based on the research that I did, I understand like with that being equity, it can be a stabilizing force as well. So I think there's this kind of long history of a feeling of like absence and no connection to the community and not having a conversation. And I'm very hopeful that this is the beginning of many conversations to come, and that we can, you know, invest our you know, our hopes in you, just as you are preparing to invest in our community. I know that my colleagues have asked this question, but do you have any thoughts about how you can, moving forward, engage with community members?
Michael's coaching me. No, we will commit to work with the community. The question is we need to coordinate space in order to do those meetings. Probably we would, you know, some of the questions that you've asked have been very consistent for the last 2 weeks. They're almost the same question almost every meeting. So I might start out with a newsletter to outline your questions, because you're getting them from the citizens. And then someone needs to open space somewhere in order to have a meeting so they can be available if they want to be in person.
Please work with the staff. They will help you in finding a
Okay, thank you.
That's great. That seems like a good first step. I appreciate it. I do have a couple of questions. I will try and keep them brief. I think this one actually is a quick one. It is following up on Councilmember Jordan's questions about the stormwater. It has been my assumption that stormwater management would improve with the development of the site, and it seems like based on the vault you're describing, the ultimate condition of the stormwater management on the site, that would is that a safe assumption?
Well, you're addressing two issues. You're addressing quantity of water and quality of water. So the ultimate systems that is designed, so the building, right now you have a surface pond, so to speak. So the ultimate construction will have this subterranean vault that will collect the water. But the purification of the water is going to occur in this drain tile system that's located over on the townhouse parcel, underground, so to speak. So you're not only, in a sense, taking care of the quantity, but you're also taking care of the big issue, because we're in the Chesapeake Bay watershed, is quality. You know, that's
I totally understand. We've got the quantity, we've got the quality, we've got the safe conveyance. I think the top line, will it get better with the development?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because
okay,
remember,
I think just that.
Remember, the building is consuming 99% of the footprint of the ground.
I'd like to add some of these notes here. We're open to community engagement. If the support letter is approved, we will be in front of the PG County Council docket in 2 weeks. Our advisors on all this is Immunicap, and they are gearing up in order to submit June 1st. That's kind of what the deadline is. Is there a day or two that might move back and forth? Might, but they're trying to hit the June 1st deadline for their application submission based upon the fact the council will look at it in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Did I get that right, Michael?
I have, I think, one more question. It's back to the financing, and then I have a couple of notes, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. This is a question back to the equity. Why is so much of the financing equity financing, and specifically like ownership equity?
You know, we've invested in Prince George's County before. We were the first people that did Camp Springs Metro site when everyone else didn't do it. So the first phase there, which was townhouses and apartments, you know, I did myself, and I've never had partners. I don't typically have partners. Never really think about having partners actually, but we have the person from Bracadia here, and there are certain thresholds, and in order to avoid having a partner, I'm willing to do what's necessary not to do that.
All right. the two notes that I had, I know we had, when Councilmember Jordan was asking questions, some conversation about the parking. I did just want to, I don't necessarily have any questions here, but I do want to read from the Declaration of Covenants that was provided to us in our packet last week. It says the condominium, and this is more like for staff's awareness and kind of based on some of the staff information. It says the condominium/HOA covenants shall provide that all residents of the multifamily and townhouses shall have equal access to the fitness center within the multifamily building, and all marketing materials regarding this project shall reflect this. And then it says townhouse residents shall be allowed use of the parking garage for 45 spaces that will be reserved for guest/retail parking in parking garage. So I know we heard earlier this evening, oh, those spaces are just for townhouse residents. Based on the Declaration of Covenants, that is not the agreement that we reached many years ago. And I see Mr. Horn nodding his head. I do think that, you know, we have heard concern from various community members, whether they are in the townhouses, in the single family that's nearby, about the parking in the area, wanting, and I think this has been the narrative. I mean, before I looked at this Declaration of Covenants just last week, I had heard many times before that there was dedicated parking in the garage for the townhouse residents. And I don't think that messaging, I'm not faulting you for that messaging. I'm just saying that is the narrative that has been in the community for many years. So there is, in addition to the information that's like in this actual legally binding agreement, there is also an expectation that some of those be reserved for townhouses. I am not looking for a solution right this minute, but I do want to kind of surface exactly what the DOC says, what the expectation is, and that some resolution needs to be reached there, but not right in this moment. And the final thing I have is about the shuttle. One of our residents, and I've read that language too. I'm not going to read the whole thing to everyone, but I do understand where it says, you know, first, you need to kind of feed into an existing shuttle system if there is one. If there isn't one, then you need to create one. And the headways need to be a minimum of 30 minutes, I believe. We also received last week communications from one of our residents with a suggestion that I thought was pretty nice. What does it say? Bear with me. The suggested shuttle to the UMD campus, well, this is minor, it does say to the Metro, has no place to loiter at the building and would not be part of a larger integrated transit system. That money would be better spent contributing to the operations of the UMD shuttle, WMATA, or the PG County transit system and furnishing residents with transit cards. I thought that was a really nice suggestion. We do have, you know, as Mr. Hugh pointed out earlier, our transit network is very different than it was 20 years ago or even 10 years ago. We also have the Purple Line coming online. Headways of 30 minutes. You have lower headways with our transit system today. And I do think kind of pulling potential riders out of our transit system and putting them into a shuttle is maybe not the most modern solution. So I agree with Councilmember Jordan that maybe some other form of transportation demand management, some bolstering of our metro system, WMATA, Metro Bus, et cetera, could be useful to look into. And I have completely, my note on affordability is in here, and I overlooked it. That should be top of mind. Councilmember Hugh, I think, did a really good job of surfacing that. I think we still, I mean, I am glad that we are seeing some of the units at 60% AMI, but I really do want to push that I would like, and I think other council members would like to see more deeply, a higher number of those more deeply affordable units. And I would suggest tracking the length that they are to have that rate of affordability should be the same length of time that any pilot might be granted. And I really would just push for more in the 50 to 60% range. I think that's really aligned with the recommendations of our Affordable Housing Task Force and the priorities of a number of council members. And I cede back. Thank you so much for your time, everyone.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I know Councilor Hernandez will be speaking. So I see in the timeline tonight will be considering to support the letter for the pilot. But I see in the staff memo on June 2nd meeting will be also considering to support the DOC, Declaration of Covenant. Am I correct?
That's the one that's being continued. That's the other one.
Why does it say city council meeting?
What? Maybe, I'm sorry.
Page 121.
That's the mark, I believe, Mayor. I'm not sure. Because the only one that we have a timeline for, I believe, is the mark.
Oh, that's the other one. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, yeah.
I skipped back. I'm sorry. Sorry for causing confusion. All right, Councilor Hernandez, please. Over here. Please go ahead. Is this okay with?
But I would defer to Councilman Hernandez.
He's fine. Please go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, you said it's fine. Okay. Mr. Horn, so good to see you always.
My pleasure.
So the date is definitive, it's June 1. I just want to make sure I'm clear as to that part.
Okay, so again, you're familiar about the council process and how the council goes on recess after July, and they come back in September with the legislation so they can get it done in that period of time. That's the deadline I think they're talking about, because you have to have it in now before the council goes on recess, so that they can have it in the queue so when it comes back. And like I say, June 1st is the date the meeting cap gave us. I accept that, but I'm sure that's what it is. It's the fact that the timing is more so a timing with the council schedule so that they can review it and make the decision. Because it has to go through the county executive's office and then down to the council, so they need time to do that. And then let me just, I wanted to apologize to Councilmember Hernandez. Just indicated, I certainly did not mean to indicate that I'm dismissive of what the city council. I do apologize if that's the way it came off. I was suggesting that the action was going to be taken by the council, the county council, if at all, and we was just seeking a letter from the city. I just did not mean to be dismissive, so let me apologize to you.
Oh, and Mr. Mayor, I just want to ask, we do have 2 residents who are waiting patiently. Yes.
The way I was planning to do, this is an action item, so I would be expecting a motion and a second, and then we'll go back to the audience to get further comments from the audience.
Well, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, on your turn.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
All right. So we have the June 2nd meeting we have tonight, right? I just want to make sure that we're clear. We can vote tonight and we can move forward. If we do, I want to trust you. I tried. I did this with the mark, folks. Did you see this? And they came back and they changed the terms on me. So I feel already burned, but their sins shouldn't transfer to you. I really I think everyone said it up here on the dais, that we want you to sit down with the residents and hear them out, have a conversation with them. That's that is the condition for my approval, whether it's now or prior to. We don't have a lot of negotiating power. You all know that, right? Let's call it what it is. So I'm trying to negotiate with you all in good faith here for you to be able to sit down with the residents, hear their concerns, and try to incorporate them as much as you can, given the fact that, there's been so many years since we last visited this. So, I only say that just because we can vote today, we can table it until the 2nd, but I'm gonna defer to the leadership of the 2nd, or the representative from District 2, since this does fall in their district.
Thank you. Before I ask my District 2 colleagues to move the motion, or rather consider to move the motion, I know Councilor Hugh made a good point, and I actually attended those meetings many years ago with the JPI was there, about the retail space. I understand the market is not there right now because the demand for retail is pretty soft, However, as you know, the Route 1 is not going to be the same as the Route 1 right now. We are actively working with the SHA to rebuild Route 1 in North College Park, north of 193. So our goal is to make North College Park along Route 1 corridor as a walkable community. So that's the reason we have been asking for more retail space, because in the end, unless there is a retail space, people will not be walking on Route 1. So I understand right now you're not doesn't probably make the math right to put more retails because of the demand. However, in the future, I'm talking about when Route 1 will be rebuilt, is it possible to design the final design, I'm talking about DSP design, in a way that the units at the front close to the Route 1 could be reconfigured to make more space for retail? I mean, what is it, 10:30? Second? Do you have a second? Okay.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? An abstention. So I know you're not coming back because the declaration of covenant is done. I'm just making a request to consider.
I believe I was talking to Tim earlier. If you look at the site plan the remaining site is 2 acres.
Yeah.
To do the equivalent of the size that is desired for like a Gold's Gym takes the entire site area of what currently has the apartments, and you still got to park that, so you still have the garage behind, and then you wouldn't have another product. Now, your question is can we over time increase it? We're not going to increase it to like 40. We may be able to get 1 or 2 units.
Correct.
But you're only doing that because it's the investment of doing that is higher than the investment for the rental unit you're talking about. That'd be the only motivator.
Right now, I understand it doesn't probably make sense right now because math probably doesn't work. But I'm talking about
we're having trouble having this math work.
Yeah, it is already done. However, I mean, conversion happens. I've seen in other projects that people have been converting office space into housing. So it's not a new concept of converting one type to another from housing. Some of the units to retail.
Well, we will have a loan on the project. They might differ in their opinion.
Yeah, you guys may not be owning the complex anymore. All right, just on a thought, because this item is not coming back to the council and we don't have much to say. All right, if there is no further comment, Mr. Ranker.
Yes. Well, Mr. Mayor, I do think that we're going to have a declaration of covenants at some point. So I think it would come back to the council. Am I correct in that, Deputy City Manager?
My understanding, that there may be changes to the DSP, and that's when we can make changes to the covenant. And yeah, Mr. Horn is nodding. So yes, if there is changes to the DSP, then we can make changes to the Declaration of Covenants.
Or, for instance, if there was any city money that was going towards it, that's when.
Correct. And as far as affordability, that's how you would codify it.
Of course, there is no city money at current in this. I mean, I understand with real estate, it's like, wait, hurry up, wait up, and obviously, things, markets change, right? You think about how much has happened since 2007 in the country, in our city. A lot has changed. I'm not surprised that there have been, a bunch of minor amendments, since then. Something else that has changed is Shuttle UM, for example, is now open to every city resident. So any city resident in College Park can ride the Shuttle UM for free. So that would take you up Route 1 to this, to this we want to have time for the residents. You know, a lot of folks weren't around when this happened. A lot has happened already in the neighborhood. So we'll need to have that public engagement. I think, you know, you've heard again, affordability. I'm just really concerned. I was just doing some basic math here. For a one-person bedroom at 120% AMI, that's somebody making $114,000 a year, if my math is correct, based on the state numbers from 2025, because they don't even do the table for you once you get past 100%. I just don't see how that would possibly, you know, I bet you'd have 6 open units for that. And that doesn't serve you guys, it doesn't serve our city in that case. So I would like to see more of that being shifted to the 60%. I would like, you know, to see if there's, I guess in the letter itself, I guess it's the county that gets to make the decisions on the pilot, but I would like that to be reflected in our desires for the project. But I'll just say, you know, our staff, you know, has brought this before us and is also, you know, cares about the affordability and a lot of these other aspects with their support. The fact that we're committing $0 at this moment, I'm not. I am not opposed to continuing in this relationship to see where it can go and if it can meet our needs, and so do support this letter at this time.
Sure. So council can have additional comments before they take the vote. So right now, if I may,
Mayor, we need a motion.
So I need a motion first. Yes.
Correct.
From District 2 council members.
I move to authorize the submission of a letter of support for a request for a county pilot for the Boulevard at 9091 to the Prince George's County Council and the Department of Housing and Community Development.
Second.
So, Jordan, do you have further comments on your motion? You already spoke.
Thank you. Yes, I already spoke, but in general, I am supportive of this. I feel like you have come in many ways in good faith. You've answered so many questions that we've had. You've listened to hours and hours of us talking to you about these things. When I met, you were ready to talk to the residents. You were ready. My understanding from Michael Williams is that you were ready the next day after being asked, can we meet with the residents? I don't know what day that was between last week and this week. I think it was after we were at the Speaker Pena Melnick, and Michael Williams asked me what would, you know, what is it that we want to see? And the first thing that I said was engagement, and you guys were ready. And so I really do feel like this is something that you guys are coming to us in earnest. And I do understand that when we've been burned as badly as we were just earlier that night last week with a developer who promised something and then just wouldn't deliver, that this is not the same situation, and this is not the number of years ago. And I do understand that there are issues. I think that there are things that you wish were different about this, and that I do feel like you're going to work with us in ways that make sense for everyone to the best that you can. And so I'm likely to support.
Thank you. Let's go to the audience first. I know. Thank you all for patiently waiting. Please come forward to the podium. Please state your name for the record, and if you are a resident of College Park.
My name is Judith Wong, and I am a resident of College Park, specifically of North College Park, living right behind the Monument Village development. And I have been living there for 21 years, since 2005. I am also married to District 1 Council member Alan Hugh, but I am not speaking for Alan Hugh. He has spoken for himself. I am speaking for myself. as a resident who has put up with an awful lot of stuff here. First of all, what you're voting on tonight is merely this letter of support. Is that or is that not correct? From what I read, that is it. And personally, I don't support a letter of support at this time. I don't support being rushed into voicing support for this. Not that I necessarily think that this is altogether a bad thing that these folks are talking about, but being rushed into it without enough time and specifically without a lot of recent resident input disturbs me. All this other stuff, all this waiting around in the weeds about the details of transportation and parking and all that stuff, okay. The DSP is a whole different beast. And I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but there's something called death by 1,000 cuts, or maybe it's 10,000, I don't remember the number. Little minor amendments to the DSP, one here, one there, another one over here, and guess what? Over time, they add up. You end up with something that doesn't look very much like the thing that was approved 20-some years ago. And sometimes that's an improvement. Other times, I'm not so sure. What I really would like to see is the current version of the DSP. I would like for the developers to present that to the residents, say at a civic association meeting. I would also like some information to be available on a forum like Nextdoor, where you can post information, make it available to anybody who subscribes to Nextdoor, so that we can get the resident input and see what residents who are actually going to be affected by this new development feel about it. I've looked at that. I've seen that lot, where previously there used to be a restaurant called Mandalay, and I forget what else, that vacated back in 2005, right before we moved in. And there has been nothing since then. That building sat vacant in decrepit shape for a while.
Please wrap up if you can.
Sorry. Before they finally tore it down, then they took down all the trees, and it sat as dirt for a while, and now we have a not always well-tended grassy field, which I would love to see turned into something better. But I think we need to listen to the residents, specifically the folks who live in that neighborhood, and I don't mean just the townhomes, I mean the people who live in the single-family homes that are beyond those townhomes, because they're affected too. And so I'm asking the developers, what can we do about this? Thank you.
Certainly, thank you for your comment. If you have joined online, please raise your virtual hand. We'll allow you to speak. Former council member, Ms. Gross. Please state your name for the record.
I'm Maxine Gross, a resident of College Park. I have never, in all my life, in my many go-rounds with council and other similar bodies, seen a presentation that is so lacking as this one was. There seems to be some lack of understanding of what the project is, of what the process is, what the timetable is, and yet and still someone is going to vote in favor of giving away my tax money for a project that I don't see a whole lot of benefit in. We've already said that the affordable housing component is minimal and is perhaps 15 years at best. The issues around transportation are unknown. And we want to do this because the property owner is such a good neighbor. I've heard opposing views on that subject. So tonight, you are twisting yourselves into pretzels to do something And I can't quite understand why. Perhaps I'm old. It's been a long time since I sat where you did. Been actually a couple of lifetimes. But I don't get it. It's about time for the city of College Park to start advocating for development that the citizens want. Not to twist themselves into pretzels to accept whatever somebody comes in here with and say it's good. And with that, I will say good night because I've had enough.
Thank you. Appreciate your comment. Again, if you are here to speak, please come forward to the podium. We'll allow to speak. And if you have joined online, still, this is the last call for you to raise your virtual hand. 3, 2, 1. So let's come back to the council. Anyone wants to make comments before we take the vote? Let's raise.
Roll call.
Roll call? Okay.
Wait, I raised my hand. What's the point of this thing?
Oh, I see that. Okay, sorry. Councilor Hernandez.
Okay.
That's what I'm asking.
All right. I need Route 1 developed. All right, like this is the corridor to the university. I'm deferring all responsibilities as to who moves what taxpayer dollars to the county. Frankly, I'm quite glad that it's not going to be a decision that we at the city need to make. I know that we'll have future conversations about some of the economic tools that we have, but Mr. Property Owner, I forgot your name, sir, but Chris, Mr. Chris?
Yeah, Chris Lassard.
Mr. Lassard, I'm going to trust you that you're going to speak to the residents beforehand, and that's why you'll have my support, and then earnestly listen to them. Everyone's going to have some feelings, and there's going to be some passion, and that's just what you're listening to, what you're hearing is just caring, right? Because they care about their community, and I hope that we can work together to make sure that we address some of the concerns that have long lasted, existed in this particular property, and that we can work forward together to have a better property rather than just a vacant property. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Oates.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, I think, I don't think that this requires a amendment to the motion, but as part of us authorizing submission of the letter, would want the letter again to be drafted by staff and to be clear in what agreements have been reached between the applicants and staff. So I think that is within the motion that was made, but just wanted to reinforce that point. Thank you.
Certainly. I think staff clarified that. They will
Yeah, we will.
make the edits.
Yeah, we will make sure that it's submitted and it's reflective of the conversation and then submitted to the council.
Certainly. Thank you. Seeing no hands, and there is a request to have roll call. Oh, Mr. Hugh, did you have? I don't see a virtual hand.
Yes. Will you be able to make comments at the roll call?
No, please make your comment now. Then we'll do the roll call.
Okay. Okay. So I feel that we'd be doing a disservice to our community if we approve this at this point for what's being proposed to us tonight. I believe in smart development, and we worked hard to reach the agreement for the original DSP, and it is an insult, this offer. This may not be city tax dollars, but it is tax dollars nonetheless, which we all do contribute to. It's just a different bucket. I don't see how and why we can support any of the numbers of whether it's affordable housing or retail space that's coming before us. We need to build smart. We need to build for the future. That is our responsibility, and I cannot get behind this.
Thank you. Councilor Ranker has comments, and then Councilor Simmons.
Yep. I will say that for me, it's an imperfect proposal before us. We'll need changes before it finalizes, before we get that declaration of covenants. You're hearing from us, for me especially, as others have shared, the affordability is the biggest piece. This is a hard process because we have to trust a lot of folks that have a little more expertise in these kind of things than I do, for example, and that's why we have a great city staff to help lead us in this, and I'm taking their counsel into consideration. And I see this vote as effectively stopping this project in its tracks right now, and I want to have more conversation to get us to where we want in this, which to me requires a positive vote at this point.
Thank you. Councilmember Simmons and then Mayor Pro Tem Mackey.
Thank you. I do want to provide comment because I want to be as clear as I possibly can. I said earlier that I think that, the current circumstances are unfortunate, and I do think that is a product of many things, and we should be looking at, as a city, at ways to avoid this particular situation going forward. I know we had preliminary work with our vacant and blighted property task force, and this seems like an excellent reason to pick that up and pursue it, because I see you, again, human people, having made rather rational decisions that were perhaps not in the city's interest, but our interests are not always aligned. And I think as much as possible, we should be thinking about putting policies in place that will align our interests and further the city's goals. When it comes to this project, I agree with Councilmember Hernandez. I think when we look at this at a city-wide level, there is an interest in having that property no longer be a field of gravel and having it be a really nice element of the gateway to our city. You already have an approval on the books. I do think that there needs to be engagement with community members. I think there is room for improvement, but I agree with Councilmember Ranker as well. We are deciding on trade-offs in imperfect conditions. I think the conversation would be very, very different if you were coming to us at this juncture asking for city assistance, but I am comfortable, again, in the context of this conversation and understanding that city staff are going to come back with a letter of our own supporting your request for the pilot. And yeah, that's all for me.
Mayor Pro Tem Mackey.
Yes, not to belabor what's been said, but you've come here tonight asking us to support you, and we're coming to you asking you to support us. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so there is a request to do roll call. Starting with Councilmember Hernandez. Yes or no?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh.
No.
Councilmember Jordan.
Yes.
Councilmember Simmons.
Yes.
Councilmember Ertz.
Yes.
Councilmember Ranker.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Mackey.
Yes.
And Councilmember Mitchell.
Explaining my vote, I will not be voting for this project because the input on the public was not done first. And I think that's vitally important, even though the prospective developer intends to do it, but we should have done it before we had this vote tonight. My vote is no.
0. So with a vote of 6-2, the motion passes. Thank you. Thank you, staff, for your work. And let's continue the conversation because I see the entire community and the council actually trust you, and please work on that trust.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our next item is the request for status of future agenda items. I didn't see any applications, so let's move to comments from audience. Is there anyone who wants to speak on anything under the sun? Yeah.
Seeing none, let's move to the mayor and council comments, starting from left, Councilmember Mitchell.
Pass, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem Mackey.
Just quickly, I had the privilege to go to the,
Denise, please turn off your mic.
I'm sorry. I had the privilege to go to the COG, Chesapeake Bay Policy Committee meeting, and was given a lot of information on federal and state legislation for clean water, about PFAS and PFOA, and different things that affect our drinking water. So that was a real interesting meeting that I got to go to. And I got to also attend the Lakeland, and I just really, I just really want to encourage everyone to go and see that, because it's really very inspiring and moving, understanding just what happened and just about the community. And lastly, tomorrow, the Attic Towers is having a senior health fair, and for senior citizens, and it's always a very interesting thing to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Ranker.
Pass.
And Councilman Oates.
Pass.
I just want to quickly say two things that I don't think we mentioned that in the beginning. Some of the council, my council colleagues, had an opportunity to tour Discovery House, which is the Leonard Town. Just that was a nice tour, and actually staff on there too. I think they did a good job, and also I think last Friday staff did a fantastic job at the Bike to Work Day in the morning. That was very well attended, and I had a lot of fun biking to DC to my day job. It was nice. The Anacostia River Walk Trail was fantastic. This is the first time I actually used that trail. So let's go to Councilmember Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do want to take just a moment. I think I've been struck these past couple of weeks where I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like we've had a couple of really weighty council meetings. I am just so appreciative of, and this is going to sound like backpatting, but I mean this genuinely. I am so appreciative of my council colleagues, your leadership, your mentorship, your insights, being able to come here in a public forum, have just genuinely really interesting and edifying conversations where then we need to make difficult decisions in a public forum. I am constantly, I am grateful for you all, and I hope that you know that. As well to staff, that goes without saying. And
You're always supported by them.
And I'm really excited to meet our new student liaisons. Welcome. I'm hopeful that we'll have an opportunity to get to know you all a bit better more quickly, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know you all over the course of the next year. So very happy that you're here.
Thank you. Councilman Jordan.
Pass.
Councilmember Hill.
Yes, as you all know, I'll be here for the rest of the week, attending the ITGA, International Town and Gown Association meeting. I will also be having a meeting for the Metropolitan Washington Air Quality Committee and the Asian Pacific Islander municipal officials board member meeting as well. And I hope to see you all at the Memorial Day celebrations. And I'm very grateful that the city is a participant in the Bike to Work Day. That's a very important effort. If more people can get off the roads into a bike, that also impacts the other committee that I'm on, air quality. So that's a great one for me. I'm glad that you do that. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, have a good conference, and wish you a safe travel back to College Park. Councilor Hernandez.
I want to congratulate everyone. I know that last week's I think we had events on every single day, right? So in the evening, in the afternoon, we made it through that. And want to thank staff because I know they're right there next to us when we're going to all of these different events. I just want to close out with my brother graduated from Parkdale High School.
Congratulations.
Yes, it was super exciting. Yes. I was excited. Congratulations to all the families. I know that, actually one of our city staffs, the families, right? Miss Melissa Flores, her son graduated. From
Congratulations. My goodness.
So congratulations to all the high school students, their families, and everyone, because, it does take a village. And congratulations, early congratulations to all of those graduating from the University of Maryland. And yeah, thank you for all that you got going on. And welcome, staff liaisons. As you can see, we're always super excited. All right, lots to look forward to.
Okay, so can we ask our new student liaisons to say any comments?
Hi, I just wanted to introduce myself.
Please do.
My name is Emma Martin. I am a student at the university. I'm a government and politics major. I'm also doing the accelerated master's program in public policy. And I'm really excited to work with you all. Some of my priorities are affordability, and it seems like that's something you guys think is really important too. And then accessibility, safety, things like that. And I'm excited to work with you all.
Thank you, Sami Said.
Hello everyone, my name is Sami Said. I'm also a student at the University of Maryland. I'm a sophomore studying public policy. I'm also a resident of Old Town. Some of you may remember me as I've testified a lot on the ELO very passionately, and I'm really glad the work that you guys did to get that through. So I thought, why not continue and actually be, student liaison here to continue focusing on affordability and other important projects. I know that you mentioned, Mayor, the Student Advisory Committee will definitely be continuing that and really firing that up. That's one of our big initiatives that we're going to be working on, and hopefully really representing the student voice. We want to do a lot of innovative things this year, so you'll definitely be hearing a lot from us, and I'm really looking forward to working with you all.
Likewise, and we are very lucky to have you. Looking forward to working with you too. Councilor Hernandez.
Forgive me, I forgot, and forgive the alibi. I don't know if you guys know, Miss Anaya Mills actually also, she's on the city clerk's team, got her master's degree just recently. So
congratulations. Please pass that on.
Yes, please pass along our congratulations.
Thank you. Who is going to do city manager's report or other comments?
We're going to pass. Have a great night, everybody.
Okay.
Motion adjourned.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, any abstention? Good night, College Park. We are adjourned.